You're listening to another Woodshop podcast, the okayest podcast of its type. Your hosts are Daniel Dunlap of Daniel Dunlap Woodworks, Peter Kapar of Petrie's Workshop, and Braden Boakes of Littlebug Woodworking. You can find them as well as the podcast on your favorite social media channels.
Welcome to episode 242 of another Woodshop podcast featuring the 3.5 best mustaches in the maker community that are on a podcast. Coming in hot off a week in Atlanta making bad decisions at Workbench Con 2025, we figured there's no better way to recap the festivities than to bring in the two people that seem to be always in the middle of all the shenanigans, even if they're not the ones doing them. Stone Beef Wellington and Morgan Hop the Fence Jumper. I think that's how you pronounce your last names. Welcome to the show. Woo!
Woo! Thanks for having us.
Man,
Wait,
that was a fantastic intro.
isn't this episode 241?
No, 242. We did 241 just before.
Yeah, I feel like we had Jeff Hankey the week before.
Yeah, I'm
and then we
sure,
had nothing. Yeah. And Jeff Hankey is 240. And how math works?
Wait, no, there's no.
Well, there wasn't
math works. It takes a break between 240 and 242. There's no 241.
Yeah, there's. Yeah, you're imagining the timeline is wrong on your timeline.
I'm going to be honest. Math was never my strong suit anyway. So
we 100% did a 241.
Who was that? Was it just us?
There was no guest. It was just us. It was
they barely
mid-season plot twist.
Oh,
was the show title. Wow.
Disregard the number on the promo reel then.
Well, I get no transition. Dan's not here. I don't know if you guys noticed. Dan is not here right now. He had a family thing, so he had to take the week off. Also, the elephant in the room, we all have mustaches, hence the intro talking about 3.5 best mustaches. Dan can't grow one. Not that his body's not physically capable. His wife just won't let him. So he is also not here partially, mainly because of that reason. Braden, you gave it your best try. Appreciate it.
Speaking of wives not letting them grow mustaches, our VIP patrons. I am going to read these probably wrong, and maybe on purpose. We've got Chris Lamoureux, Dixie Normus of Evolution Custom Woodworking. I remember why I don't like. I'm so glad that Dan has to do this part.
They got you.
The fact that he actually read it.
A boom boom stick of fresh cedar, Alex Duffy, Greg Bennett, Greg D'Ambrosia from GTD Woodworks, Damon from BWG Woodworking, Jeremy Clayball, Woodwork and Weld, Alex Adams is in time. The Foot Fiddler.
Oh no.
I don't like that. John Herbolsheimer, Jared Lupuma from LL Builds Woodworking, Tyler Booth from Temecula Yard Games, VIP patron. He made sure that everybody knew that at Workbench Con. Hi, Tyler Booth, VIP patron.
Only one that wore his VIP shirt as well.
Yeah, he gets bonus points.
There you go.
Henry Lutens, Justin from Fraser Canyon Woodworks, Rosie from Sarah's Woodshop. Nope, that's not right. Sarah from Rosie's Woodshop. El Jefe, Maker's Way. Wim Designs, Pickled Meh Stash. That's Nick Brim Woodworking.
Very good.
And the worst part is I never learned to read. That is Max and Lissa Reed. Bill Burkle from WTB Woodworking. Malcolm at Boston Nova Woodworks, based in Boston.
First time he called in, I thought that was what it was.
Fuck it. By Jake. That's Jake Coney. That's all it says. F it.
Bucket.
Crafted with Mayonnaise. That's Patrick Genzel from Crafted with Machines. Ed Mancini of Mancini Woodworking. Chris at Chris Will Make. Scott at Red Leg Custom Woodworks. Justin Bailey from Campfire Woodworks, our VIP mega super winner of our patron giveaway this month or last month.
We'll get to that in a bit.
And Jonathan Grubb. These are your VIP patrons. Probably the best looking group of patrons that I've ever seen in the history of Patreon.
Wow.
I ran a quick poll.
Wow. And what if I'm not a patron? How can I become one?
You can just go on over to iloveawp.com, which will take you directly to our Patreon page, where you can sign up for one of our many, many tiers of patronage that will get you varying levels of bonus content, access to our Discord, semi and fully nude photos at random,
Accidentally
sent to your work emails. And we'll just generally like you better.
Honestly, the Discord is fire. It's good stuff. And as of today, we can officially say we also send you primo discounts we find on the internet. When companies mess up, we pass the savings on to you.
Everything must go.
Yeah, that laundry basket that we found with the misprint on the price was a fantastic deal for somebody on Amazon.
Well, Keith Johnson, name dropping. You can start to counter now, Braden. He sent me a link a couple of days ago. He found Type Bond Original at Home Depot. They were selling the 1 gallon and the 2-pack of 1 gallons for the same exact price. So it's $10 per gallon. He ordered it. It arrived today, and now they probably got like 100+ orders for that exact same thing because we sent that to our patrons. If you want the link, you know where to look. Patreon.com/Another Woodshop Podcast. Yeah, get in it. Well, speaking of people that support us financially and honestly, mostly emotionally, let's talk about our amazing sponsors. No relation to our guests, but Onefinity, a machine so good they stopped naming it after the first one. Bringing industrial machine standards at a consumer level price. Onefinity has become a household, or I guess a shop hold name when it comes to being reliable, dependable, not to mention sleek and sexy. The machine fits every need and every budget, and they just announced last year a bunch of amazing goodies that are finally, I'm hearing through the grapevine, they're finally shipping. So they're going out. All the fun stuff that you guys pre-ordered are coming soon. And I just want to mention that they also have outstanding customer service that may or may not be answered by one of our guests here. And make sure to check out Onefinity. One machine, infinite possibilities. Oh, I get it. That's the name, Onefinity. That's good, guys. That's clever. Keep it. I would definitely keep it. Now, the other... What was that? What?
For the southern market, it's Unofinity.
Uno finito. Uno finito. Yeah, exactly. Canadians, it's still just Onefinity. Or they have some metric thing. But anyways, you got a CNC.
1.35.
If
we're talking currency.
Oh, is it? Are we just using a conversion rate?
Yeah. 1.35
1.35 Finity.
Yeah.
that track. Wait, was that the original name? And then you actually found out it worked way better in America?
It's just so easy to use whole numbers.
It just rolls off the poutine.
Resonate with people, right?
I heard the original Black Friday promo was actually you got a bucket of poutine with every single order, but it wouldn't ship right. So we had to cancel that and just throw in like spindles.
When it got stuck in customs, all the cheese went bad.
Yeah, it's not the poutine that's the problem. It's the ice packs. They don't want ice packs crossing the border.
All right, well, you got that CNC, right? You got that badass machine in your shop. What should you do next? Well, you should go to bitsandbits.com to get it's your one-stop shop for all your bit needs. Not to mention they have tons of other accessories. They're a Festool dealer. You can get amazing stuff there. They actually sponsored our giveaway last month, and we'll get to that shortly. They have router bits for every occasion, just like Onefinity has a machine for every occasion. And they're all made right here in the US, super fast shipping, and great customer support as well. They're awesome. I've messaged them, and they've replied to me within just a couple minutes with exactly the bit I need. And all their bits are finished with their AstraHP multi-layer coating, help you run the bits cleaner, cooler, and up to 2 to 3 times faster, giving you the ability to run your bits like Dan runs his life, fast and hard. So use code AWP for 10% off your order at bitsbits.com.
That's also exactly how Dan runs his bits.
Yeah. A 10% off?
Yeah, 10% off.
Now, speaking of bits and bits, we had a Patreon giveaway this month that just finished, got wrapped up in a pre-show.
This is weird. I don't talk and then you talk and then I talk. This is out of order. Hold on, a little flustered here. Yeah. So if you say you join our Patreon and you're one of our favorite people, you're entered in automatically every single month to win one of our fantastic giveaways, because Dan made a promise in front of God and everybody that we were going to do a giveaway every freaking month of 2025. So far, he has managed to keep up. So
2 for 2, baby.
We're 2 for 2.
Dan or God?
Justin Bailey from Campfire Woodworks won a $250 gift certificate to Bits and Bits. Asterisk, it's only available to be used on 1/16 collet bits, so you can get like 4,000 of them. But hey, you know what? It's free.
By the way, I got a direct quote from our winner, and he said, "I never win." Bad word, and then LOL, gonna blow the whole thing on one big ass flush cut bit, which is honestly a great use of that gift card.
Yeah, that's what I would do. Those gigantic ones that are they're like an inch diameter.
I bought one. I'm still scared of
a monster.
I'm scared of using it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You've got to use like three different 3D printed adapters to run it in your spindle. That's smart, right?
Oh no. Don't do that.
I've been lucky so far. I've been lucky so far. I've got official support.
No, flush trim bent go this way, not this way.
Maybe the way
Braden,
you do it.
Braden, I'm a jealous patron here. I don't care who won and what they won. I'm mad because I didn't win, and I want to win something. What am I going to win this month?
Well, let me tell you, Pete. I was meandering my way along the primrose path to this story. We are now in March, and it's our chance to hit 3 for 3 months of giveaways. And you know what? We did so good with 3D printers the back half of last year in January that we're going to do another friggin' 3D printer. I know, it's great. It's on brand for another 3D printer podcast. So we have, hold the phone, a Bamboo A1 combo 3D printer. So that gets you the 3D printer and it gets you the AMS, which lets you do multicolor prints, which is perfect if you want to do a multicolor print of your favorite makers from the MakerScan project. Say you want like a little little red and green Morgan for the Christmas time, little red, white, and blue stone for 4th of July. You will have the power.
You have
in your hands.
the power. There we go.
There it is.
Look at that guy.
I hate those eyes.
Smash.
They make me so uncomfortable. Or, if you don't want to do the whole thing, you could just do a 76% print of a scan and then make it look like Temu Post Malone.
Yeah. If anyone's watching the video right now, Braden brought my 76% printed head, which apparently 100 infill because it's so heavy, and everyone
really heavy.
Everyone signed my whole head, so I do look like just a Polish Post Malone.
Listen, everybody has a yearbook.
Yeah, and somehow Morgan now has it. Like we just left it at the Onefinity booth.
Ended up with it.
No,
I slept with it.
He did sleep with it pre-tattoos.
Yes.
It was so much fun carrying that around and getting it signed, because let me tell you, there's a lot of weird stuff at Workbench Con, but somebody walking up with like most of a head, I've never seen it done before.
It was the full head. It was just small.
Yeah, but it was 76% of it. So we're missing 24% of the noggin.
Still 100% fun. Am I right?
It is 110% fun. But anyway, join any of our patron tiers. All of our paid tiers, you get entered in.
Tiers.
Yeah, paid tiers. You get entered in to win the A1 combo. And for every tier, you get an additional entry. So if you do the $2 tier, you get 1 entry. If you do the 5, you get 2. You do the 10, you get 3. Hold on, the math checks out. You do VIP at 20. You get 4 entries, and then if you do the secret hidden 5th tier,
It disqualifies you, actually. That's Nick
Yeah,
Brim.
you're disqualified.
He's
so
disqualified. There's
don't
no
do
way he
that.
could ever win. Everyone would say it's rigged.
Sorry,
At that
Nick
point,
Brim.
you're on the FBI's radar.
Yeah,
and-
yeah, yeah.
pretty,
Like
pretty much.
yeah.
We actually take away
this
your
man has
entries.
counted cards.
So that's what we've got going on. Month 3 of 3, technically 4 of 4 if you count December last year.
But Braden, what if I'm the top tier and I want more entries and I got some money to blow and I want my taxes to look better next year?
That is a great point, and we have an opportunity for you to defraud the government. I mean, get more entries. All you have to do
It's
is
fully
go
legal.
to all you have to do is go to arethechairs.included.com, which I promise is a real website. It'll take you to our St. Jude's team page. And for every $5 that you donate to St. Jude's to help fight childhood cancer, we're going to give you one more entry into the giveaway that month.
Wow.
So if you donate $500 to St. Jude's, you'll get
You'll get $150.
10 more entries.
You'll
Nope, that's
get
not
that
how math
number.
works.
50 entries? 50 entries.
We'll
think
do
it's
the
50.
math. We'll double check
It would
with the
be-
calculator.
It'd be 50.
I think it's that. I think it's that. I don't know. We'll figure it out. We'll figure out the math by the end of the month.
The math is right. The number of entries, we'll double check. We'll have Dan's the math guy. We'll have him double check.
Ooh, Dan's a math guy. You
He
might need to
is.
find a new math guy.
Yeah.
Dan
he can
is our
tell you
max
if a
guy.
number or a stake is prime.
Yeah.
We've checked it.
But
Or
not both
Amazon.
at the same time. Like if you've got 3 not prime stakes, he locks up.
All right. Well, speaking of
Fair enough.
prime pieces of meat, we have 2 wonderful guests here. And, if you're a longtime fan and listener, you know who Morgan Hop is. He's been on this show twice now. But we haven't had Stone on, and he's been on our short list that we have a short list of people that we never reach out to. We just assume they'll see the list on our phone. So, Stone, we've been wanting to have you on the podcast for the longest time. Can you give us your origin story? Who the hell do you think you are?
I mean, those are 2 different questions.
Give me your origin story.
Don't be difficult, Stone.
What's your woodworking journey like?
We'll boot you off so fast
Tell us
it'll
about your
make
journey.
Morgan's head spin.
So I'm Stone. That's my name, not my mental state of being.
Actually, his legal name too.
It is.
Yeah, it's a real name.
I've been in the woodworking community for about 5 years now. I was not involved in the community or social media at all up until then, when I actually started at Onefinity. But I've been making stuff pretty much my whole life. I started out doing like carving stuff when I was younger, and I just like working on things and fixing things, taking them apart, figuring out how they work. And that's kind of how this job fell into my lap when I was a junior in college. Finished up those last couple of years of school, and now I'm just working away and doing Onefinity. So I'm kind of lucky because I get to do this as a job, and I was just kind of thrown into it, and it's kind of a sink or swim thing, but everybody in the community's accepted me, and now I just feel like I've been here for forever. So
Yeah, we're
Not
jealous
everybody.
of your job.
There's a couple guys that I don't know.
yeah,
There's people that wouldn't even offer you a job, so not everyone likes you. But you
It is what
are
it is.
by far one of the most likable people, and probably one of the most likable not brand ambassadors, like a brand person, representative. And you're also, you answer a lot of the emails when people call in with issues, right?
yeah.
Wow.
Not as much lately, just because I've got a lot of other things going on. But yeah, that's actually what I started to do, was do the support emails and videos. And that
Well,
was-
you gotta go pick up all those Onefinities from Canada and drive it across the border without anyone
Yeah,
noticing,
it takes
right?
me a while. I get my sleigh and my big red sack, and I just knock them out overnight usually.
Nothing worse than a big red sack.
Well, you've made only one mistake in your job, and that is hiring the guy that's here with you, Morgan Hop, Mr. Morgan Hopfens. I can never say your last name.
Hopfensperger.
Wow, you
Find out what that means to me. RESPECT.
SET. So Morgan, for those that
Stone has
have
to
been,
send us things. Stone has to send me things all the time, so he's got my last name spelling down pat.
I take a lot of pride in it because most people can't pronounce it even. So
and
Yeah.
your Stone, is it Willingham?
Willingham.
Willingham. Ah, so
Stone Wellington.
I'm
that's
gonna
why
be
I went with
honest.
Beef Wellington because it's just easier to say.
I'm gonna be
It's a
honest.
piece of beef wrapped in pebbles, and then wrapped in more pebbles.
Yeah, I don't feel like it's hard to say, but it was funnier the way you introduced me.
I'm gonna
tried.
be honest. Up until just this second, my brain didn't actually even think Stone had a last name. It was just.
Am I just a brand to you? Is that all I am?
No, I
No,
thought
you
were
should
just
see his
Stone.
birth
You're
certificate.
just Stone.
You were basically like Cher. You were like Seal. Like it was just Stone.
Even that
stage
chump,
name.
The Rock, has a "the" in front of his name, like a chump. You're just Stone.
Yeah.
Stone, comma the.
Are you him? Anyways,
I could be him.
The artist formerly known as Stonefinity.
well, your biggest achievement and biggest failure, Morgan Hopp, is here. So, Morgan, for those of us that don't know who you are, please give us the spiel.
One, if you don't know who I am, I don't know where you've been.
How dare you?
Right?
Awesome. Thanks for that great story, Morgan. Let's go ahead and move on to the next part of the podcast.
Yeah. So, I started woodworking in like 2011, 2012, somewhere in that neighborhood. I had a custom furniture business for like 7 years, and then I started working for another brand in the space. And then I stopped working for that brand and then just kind of did my own thing for a little while, like a couple of years.
Was that like a big gig, or would you say it was like a micro gig that you did for a little bit?
It was infinitesimal. It was the smallest gig you could ever imagine. No, as I used to work for I was their Microjig's creative director for 5 years.
Ooh.
And yeah, it was fancy, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, so and like I still have a good relationship with them. Like I still have like an affiliate account with them. I send them business. Like I talked to one of the guys that still works there. He's sending me some stuff. It's supposed to get here tomorrow. Actually, new things that have happened since I was there. Actually, pretty excited about it. But anyway, so yeah, so then I left there, did my own thing for a couple of years, and then I started working for Onefinity a couple of years ago. I have a very, very small shop. It's 284 square feet, and that is where I do all of my work. I do the videos, the kind of project-based YouTube videos, and yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. So I do videos, and then I also kind of just as a brand representative go to shows and just kind of liaison to the community.
Look at that $10 word there. You're a roadie. You're a Onefinity
A
roadie.
roadie just pulls cases behind Stone.
Yeah. I forgot to. I'm also Stone's stepdad.
Yeah, you guys are just
He
brothers
refuses to
from
call me dad.
another mother, like literally from faraway twins.
Well, I mean,
Actually,
when we
there was
first saw
somebody
you
this-
guys in Atlanta, we both said to each other, like, they're starting to look more like each
Yeah, you guys
other.
are starting to merge into one
Like
human.
Morgan, you're shrinking a little bit. Stone's coming up a couple inches. It's like we're in like the middle part of those Animorph books.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I
we're in like
remember
the
those.
weird part where like the monkey
Animorphs
and
and
the human, they're like in the
Goosebumps.
middle.
Those are my elementary school years. Those are, but yeah, yeah. So, me and Stone, we're like the two guys that Onefinity trusts to send out to the community and
wild,
just
right?
kind of nurture those relationships that we have. And I'm just counting the days till they realize that
They made a mistake. But they're literally losing money on this.
Don't say that. This is going on the internet.
Yeah, no.
Morgan, I gotta say though, I remember when you got you got brought onto the team, and my first reaction was,
Who?
good choice. Like it genuinely was like I was like, yes, that sarcastic son of a bitch is gonna be like working with Stone. It's just gonna work out. I just had a good feeling, and I love seeing you guys at all the events. And by the way, I'm gonna address the elephant in the room. The mustaches are real. And then the other elephant in the room, this is not a Onefinity episode. These guys just happen to work for Onefinity, but we've known these guys for years and we're good friends. And we're like, yo, let's do this together. So anyone's like, oh, they're selling out. Like, we already work with Onefinity. We have nothing to prove.
Also, like, you guys
here because you guys are
about
awesome.
Onefinity in almost every episode in one way or another, whether we're on it or not. So, like, we'll probably talk less about Onefinity this time than you have in other episodes that we're not on. So,
Well, let's jump into it. I think let's do a little recap of Workbench Con. So,
What's on my Workbench Con?
You know what? Let's go with the elephants all the way around. There was a lot of rumors about this Workbench Con, and listen, like, we've worked with the Workbench Con for years. We've been going to. I've gotten the last 5 now. It's an awesome event. I always learn a ton. I talk to a crap load of makers. Never enough, because there's always so many people there. But there was a lot of rumors about how this might be the last one. And, it's a little bit of like, well, oh, who? We're getting a little echo. Am I getting an echo?
I hear it too now.
Oh, Morgan got an echo out of nowhere. Are we good? Good?
Me?
Okay, no more echo. I don't know. That was weird. We were getting an echo from you for a sec. Anyways, there was a lot of rumors going around like, oh, this is the last one. They're not going to have it again. Because I think there was some miscommunication and growing pains over the last couple of months. And, like, I love this event. I want it to, keep happening and keep being awesome. But at the same time, I was like, man, okay, if they're going to, like, end it, like, we're going to need something else maybe. But, yeah, like, how did you guys feel about the rumors before and then when you got there?
Who's going? Am I going?
Go, Morgan, you're going.
Yeah, okay, I'm going to go. So it was a couple months ago that I got a text from somebody that was supposed to be a speaker at Workbench Con, but he told me that he'd gotten word from a lot of folks that they were not going this year. And, like, a lot of the kind of heavy hitter, big name people that, big YouTubers or big social media people who everybody knows, weren't going. And he was like, I don't think I want to go. If none of these people are going, it sounds like it's kind of, it's taking a nosedive. I don't want to go. I said, well, I'm going to be there either way because I'm with Onefinity and we've got a booth and everything. And we still had fun, but yes, it was significantly less people than the last time. This was my 6th one. My first one was 2019, and I've been to every single one except for 2020. They didn't do it because of COVID. It just they just released COVID.
Classic. They just launched COVID Classic.
Yeah, they just launched COVID, the beta version. And so it just, like, the numbers just seem to kind of start to dwindle over the years. And no matter how many people there could have been 50 of us there and we would have had a good time, just because that's how cool this community is. Yeah. Like, it doesn't really matter how many of us are in a place. We're going to find a way to have fun. Yeah, it was just a weird, different vibe because everybody who had been before definitely recognized that it was a lot smaller and had probably heard, whispers around about, being the last one. And so it was kind of a somber mood, like, the first day when people said, like, okay, well, this is registration day. It's now the end of registration day. So everyone's accounted for. Everyone's here. And this is not many people.
I think we're all in denial because, like, a couple of us were like, "No, people come Friday. People come Friday morning."
Yeah, there were a few, but it wasn't. It just wasn't the same.
And some people do, but it was kind of a somber mood. So, like, have you ever heard of a living funeral? Where, like, a person's alive, but they'll have a funeral with that person that they can
test the waters.
That's what it felt like. It felt like a living funeral, where everybody kind of, saw the writing on the wall, And it's kind of sad because we do love this event so much.
Well, what was kind of fun was I heard from a number of people that it was like their very first time going to Workbench Con, and you've got like no context to what it is. I heard several of them that were like, "Whoa, this is really crazy!" Like, especially like in the lobby, like really wild out here. And I just had to fight back the urge to be like, "Oh, honey,
Oh, honey.
oh no, oh no."
We've made the lobby people mad many years.
Yeah, we didn't even get in trouble this year.
Did they even open up the
pit
sexy
bar?
the sexy
No.
80s pit bar? I don't
The
even
pit
think
bar
they
was
opened up
not
the
open.
pit bar.
Because
I
Todd
think it was
wasn't
open
there.
during the day, and they closed it because they knew that we would be there at night if they didn't.
They knew that we would help them like make their day's sales quota in one
No,
spot.
for real. Like I bet the weekend of Workbench Con, they make all the money that they need to make for the entire quarter.
Yeah,
Like,
You know what's really funny about that though? Like we all say it, and it's basically the same as the four of us going to Vegas and be like, Vegas ain't ready for us. Vegas is very ready for
everyone.
for everybody.
You,
For like
you say that,
for
but they've
four
never had
middle-aged white
Morgan and
guys.
Stone there at the same time.
That's true.
Technically true, but I think Vegas they've got some redundancies built in. Like they're okay. Like
Some backups on a power grid for the two of you.
I bet
Be
there's
fun.
a couple other conferences, like something, there's got to be some other wild conferences. There's no way that a bunch of generally nice people is the craziest thing that happens there, especially with no guardrails on any of the floors.
Yeah, that still blows my mind. Morgan,
Wait,
what were you?
what are you
or,
talking
I'm sorry,
about?
Stone,
Guardrails
what were
on the
your-
floors. What guardrails on the floors?
No, like
Yeah, like on the upper floors, there's got to be some like, high tech military convention that has like zip lines or something like
Are
that.
you worried people are going to jump from their
No, I'm
14th
worried
floor?
that people are going to do like zip line stuff, or like somebody's going to bring like
wait, are we still talking about
parachute.
Vegas or the Waverly Hotel?
The way I was
Yeah,
talking about the
I was talking about the
Hotel.
Waverly.
That's I was confused. Like, wait, no, you are talking about the Waverly Hotel.
Yeah, I'm talking about the Waverly.
I always I lean over the railing to like look down. I'm always like, yeah, enough of that. I'm gonna
Intrusive thoughts.
I'm gonna go
Intrusive
down.
thoughts.
No, I lean over the railing. I'll just, even if I'm not staying on that floor, I would go to the very top floor and lean over the railing and drop pennies on people.
go. Oh no!
How much speed can they pick up before they hit the ground?
Stone and I, this was my first year going to the very top floor. Stone and I got in trouble on the top floor.
And it was your fault too.
It was
That was
100%
What do you
my
mean
fault.
trouble? What happened?
The security
we
guard
got
got onto us.
Yeah, we got scolded by the
Why?
security
Because you
guard.
were at a place?
No,
Like-
no.
Here's
You have to be
Here's the thing.
VIP to be up there. I don't know. I
No.
was never above
Braden-
floor 9.
Braden had the bright idea of using the service elevator.
Oh,
because
the
you didn't have to
service
wait.
elevator.
Here's the thing. For the last 3 years, I've maybe gotten on the regular elevator like twice in a weekend.
It feels wrong.
The secret service elevator is the way to go. It's right next to the conference. It goes right next because they always put our room like way across away from the elevator, and I've never had a problem with it.
It
I
feels so
take-
awkward when the cleaning ladies get on with you. And like
No,
I had the one of them,
not
she like
cleaning.
dropped all her towels. I was helping her put them back on the cart. I was like, I don't belong here.
Well, here's the deal. So we go up to Braden's room. It's Braden, Jeff from Maker's Way, and myself. And we go up to Braden's room, and we're like going to go back down. But instead of going down, Braden goes all the way to the top floor instead of going back to the lobby. And if he had not done that, we wouldn't have been in the position to get to the top floor and the doors open and the security guard is just
Flashlight
standing
out.
there with the flashlight pointed at us.
But
And-
that's kind of
What do you-
silly, and it seems like a weird power move because the building is lit. He didn't
Well
need a
lit.
flashlight.
Well, and the question she asked us was, what do you think you're doing?
Well, I'm riding the
Obviously,
elevator.
we think we're on the elevator. I mean, what other
We're not
answer were we
lost.
going to give?
We don't have dementia. We know exactly what we're doing.
It was
You know
just
this
convenient.
is a service elevator. You know you're not supposed to. Ma'am, I can't read. I'm sorry.
But that was
I
literally
can't-
the first
can't
time
read.
I'd been on it in my 3 years of going to Workbench Con.
What a
and the
bad
one
first
I got
time you
on
gave
it.
him.
I know.
Exactly.
I'm so sorry. I gave you a bad first time. I've been riding the service elevator for like 3 years straight. It was like the first thing that Daniel Dunlap taught me was this is the service elevator.
That's
We
the
use
first
service
thing.
elevator. That was the first thing.
Okay.
He tricked me to leave
So
the
you,
state
so
of
you
Nebraska
went to Atlanta with
stranger.
this man, and that was the first thing he taught you.
That was the
after
first
you got-
thing. No, okay. Technically, it was the second thing. The first thing was we can get 4 Bloody Marys down in the airport bar before they call our names for the final call. That was the first thing he taught me.
So that I wish I had known about the service elevator. I'm just hearing about it for the first time.
Don't recommend it.
And I'm
It
shook.
feels wrong.
No,
the
it's
whole
a pro
time.
level. It's a pro level mood.
It's not.
Move.
It's not.
So one thing that I learned about for the first time this year, which is silly because it's not like it was hidden or anything, is the fancy spa and bathroom
yeah.
right next to the regular peasant bathroom that's right by the all the booths and stuff.
It's actually closer than everything.
It's closer. It's even closer than the peasant bathroom. You need a room key to get in there. Yeah. But it's just
And what did you guys
the most
do after
luxurious-
you went into the hot tub?
Yeah. What was your spa?
Were
like
you
experience?
peckish? Were you like, I could eat? Could you eat? Right? Like, what did you guys do?
No, I was peckish before I went into the hot tub, which is why what transpired.
and we all know heat makes you hungry. We know that about
Well,
you.
Yeah. But like it's like the men's room is like there's like lockers and there's like chairs and stuff.
Not
for you
just
to
lockers. They
lounge.
had like nice hardwood lockers.
Yeah,
Ooh.
no, like, it was fancy. It looked like a golf club, like a community college golf club. And
Community college.
Never played
I
golf.
feel like it went back downhill.
Like a
Were the wooden
Ted
wooden
Lasso
lockers-
locker room?
it was
No,
nice.
Richmond?
It was nice.
Were the wooden lockers made
I
with
went.
like
I
walnut?
kept going back in there all day to refill my cup of water because they had this fancy gigantic jug full of ice and like mint and lemon infused water in the spa.
That is a
I'm like,
nice jug.
It's
I'm
actually
not-
really nice. Yeah.
I'm not drinking your peasant water out of the big old trough like you losers.
I just
I'm
got the
going where I'm
burnt
getting my
coffee and water
now.
from the VIP room.
Right.
Coffee was so mid.
There was a VIP room.
There
We're
was a
not-
Yeah.
VIP mood.
Well,
We're not important.
I wasn't
enough.
invited, and that
We're
makes
important.
sense.
but we're not
You
very
missed
important.
nothing.
And
Although it
then-
was really nice to get coffee all day. Like that was big plus.
I plowed through the Diet Pepsi in the VIP room so fast because Pete wouldn't let me buy a second 12-pack of Diet Pepsi. He said
didn't-
no.
You didn't even finish the first one.
I did finish the first one. I checked the fridges before we left. I definitely finished
You
that.
sound like me with my Dr. Pepper.
I need it. I need
Were
it
you-
bad.
Were you on probation there? Is that why Pete prohibited you from getting more?
No, because we had to Uber back and we literally didn't have enough hands
yeah.
to take the water. And he's like, well, it's four boxes for the price of 2. So we're
Luggage
missing out on
cart.
2. And I'm like,
We
but
left
arms?
money. We left money on the table. We left it on the table like chumps.
Luggage cart. That's all you need.
No, but we had to load up into this. Dude, like we get into this Uber and the driver is the size of the car. like, I'm surprised whoever was sitting behind him had room there. Like, the guy was shoved in that front seat. And was that you? Like, oh man. Also, impossible to get an Uber around there. Am I right?
Yeah.
I have
Not
a
get Ubers?
I didn't have any trouble, but I have a wild Uber story from this trip that I just remembered happened.
Let's go. We're going to jump around, guys. This is going to be all over the place. Go.
Yeah. So if you were unaware, if you haven't seen on the interwebs, usually what we do before Workbench Con is we go to Hamilton Dilbeck's house for a few days.
Who?
Call it Hambench Con. But anyways, I was the first person to get in. I got in Tuesday afternoon. My flight landed at like 3:30, and Morgan was a few hours behind, so I just caught
I
an
was
Uber.
driving.
Yeah, he was
I-
driving. So rather than waiting at the airport for like 4 hours, I just got an Uber to Ham's house. And I get to Hamilton's house. He is sitting in the driveway, like in a lawn chair, waiting for me to get there. And I was so excited, and I had to pee so bad that I left my phone in the back seat of the Uber.
No.
Yeah. So I am 45 minutes from Atlanta, like a couple 100 miles from home, and I just lost my phone on a business trip. So I wasn't going to be able to do much. And me and Hamilton, he was just like, do you just want to like go to the store and bite the bullet? And I was like, yeah, I might as well just go get a new phone. I'm never going to see this dude again. And we get halfway to the store, and his wife calls him. And apparently, this dude saw my phone in the back seat when Hamilton called me for the 14th time, and it lit up. And he turned around and he like showed up and apparently knocked on their door and was holding my phone like in the glass, just like peering through the window looking for somebody. Scared Hamilton's wife to death, but I got my phone back. So
Oh, amazing.
Nice. And you went
Southern
that was all before
hospitality.
Morgan even. That all happened before Morgan even showed up.
I'm also imagining Hamilton like in the front, on a front porch in a rocking chair, like drinking sweet tea, and you pull up, and he's got a sweat rag on his neck. And like, would you like some sweet tea? And he's like, I gotta pee.
He's got straw in his mouth.
It was exactly like that, but in the driveway instead of the porch.
Hamilton
He had
wears
his
like a lot
overalls
of
and everything.
Hamilton wears a lot of white linen suits.
It's the sweat rag is what makes it. You gotta like dab at your skin, like you're a
I
Southern
don't
lawyer.
And then you got
I
to
don't-
look at it.
I don't have
Flour
electricity.
is a Wilton.
I don't have any electricity in my shop. I do declare this is inconvenient.
Oh, those speeds and feeds, I'll get you. This is why you watch the video for all the hand gestures.
You gotta set your speeds like a thick molasses.
So dumb.
Oh,
New t-shirt idea, dibs.
By the way, jumping back to the whole like all the rumors and stuff like that. Spoiler alert: we get to the end, the closing ceremony, and they say we heard there's a lot of rumors, and we just want to set the record straight. We want to make this the best conference that we can. We've heard your feedback, hopefully, and we hope that I cannot stress how subtly they stressed every time they said the next one. Not next year. It was all the next one.
The next one.
We're giving away a ticket to the next Workbench Con. So the thing is, it's kind of up in the air. It seems like they don't want it to be done. Like I know Kristen loves this event. She wants it to continue and be as good as it can be. There's also no other event really in that genre, although there are some developing. That's kind of nice. Got some, some good ones that are happening. But they're allegedly are going to continue it, but no early bird pricing has dropped for next year, so we'll see.
Can you
I'm
imagine?
curious, like who I mean, like they say that, and I'm sure that they have every intention of having another one, having the next one. I'm honestly curious, like how confident people are that it will actually happen, because I don't know. Like every year, the price keeps going up and up and up and up and up and up and up. This year we finally got decent food. That was cool.
Oh, the food was
that
actually
was-
amazing, guys.
Yeah.
Food, like
Food was
finally
great.
got the food we deserved.
The
Yeah.
fried chicken we had for lunch, whatever day that was surprisingly good.
Yeah.
I had lobster that had accidentally bumped into some macaroni and cheese.
You had all the lobster and the lobster mac and cheese. No one else had lobster that day.
It was just regular mac and cheese for everybody.
The mac and
else.
cheese was a garnish for your lobster entree.
Listen, I'm here to get my money's worth.
Yeah.
You don't
But, like,
leave money on the
the-
table.
The price just goes up and up and up every year, and I think that people have just kind of you reach that critical mass, right? You reach that tipping point where, like, okay, it's more expensive every year, but and this isn't a jab or anything at any of the people that spoke at this year's Workbench Con, but there's usually more speakers and talking about and giving classes on subjects that people really care about. And so, like, I think one, like, there were fewer speakers about subjects that, like, not that people didn't care about, but like had been covered over and over and over every year. So, like, they were looking for something new. And then there was just, like, kind of those, like, heavy hitter big names that people in the community, look up to and are looking forward to meeting
Daniel
and
Dunlap.
and learning from. And a lot of them decided that it wasn't financially worth it for them to go. And so when people show up and the people that they're excited to see and meet aren't there, it's like, what am I paying for? So I think that just kind of compounded year after year to where this one was just, everybody was like, it's just not worth it.
Yeah, one thing that kind of hit me, I have never, any of the Workbench cons I've gone to, I've never gone to every class. I did always every other one, sometimes one a day. There's been times that I didn't go to any that day because I was engaging with people, talking to brands, pitching, whatever it might be, or we're just taking a nap or something. This year, I actually went to every single class. And at the end of the whole event, it's full price for the event was supposed to be $700. It was like $699 or whatever. It's expensive. I only had gone to 5 classes, and I've gone to the max amount of classes I could go to, aside from like the expert desks that they kind of had set up in random times. And 5 classes that's a steep price for 5 classes. I think that's kind of my big thing. And every year I get to a point where I really want to go see 2 classes, whether it's my friend that I want to go support, because sometimes I'll go to a friend's class over the one that my business needs, just because like I want to support them. It's still going to be good info. I want to see that. I genuinely think that every class should be recorded, and if you buy a ticket for that event, you should have access to every single class.
I thought that was something they were actually doing this year for the first time, but I don't know if it happened or not.
I didn't see any cameras. There's definitely nothing recording.
So in the 6 years that I've gone, I think I've been to over 6 years. I think I've been to maybe 4 or 5 classes.
You kids.
And
I've been to one class the last 2 years, and that's it. I didn't go to any my first year.
So like a huge thing that a lot of people that go to Workbench Con is like they want to connect with brands, and they want to meet them and hopefully work something out. And they're going to these classes and stuff. The brands we're all just out there, like we're all just accessible. Well, like if you just decide not to go to classes, everybody's doing that.
Yeah,
you can just walk right up.
Morgan,
there's no line. You don't have to wait. You just come up and talk to us. Like that. I've figured that out. Like my second year, like not going to classes is more valuable than going to classes.
Don't give away my secrets, Morgan.
Yeah,
I went to
that's our break time. What are you doing?
That's pro level moves there. You're just
That's
giving it away
time.
for free.
But see, that's why I've never gone to all the classes, but this is the first year that there's a lot of brands there, but
well, because you've already got all the brand deals anybody could ask for. So you're like,
mainly it's all the brands I wanted to work with were I work with already that were there.
He just gets what he wants. Is what
I
I
sealed the deal and got the Letterman jacket in the previous years.
No, I just figured listen, if this is the last one, there's no brand here that I really need to talk to them this time. I have a contact. I was like, you know what? Let me enjoy the classes for once. If this is the last one, let's go out with a educational bang.
Well, and let's be honest too.
Nothing better than an educational bang.
2 + 2.
All right, show titles.
Let's be honest. It was a lot of fun, and yeah, meeting the brands is a big part of it. This year was essentially a CNC and supporting software conference, and then also 2 sanding companies that happen to have the exact same designs. We were in a weird, bizarro mirror world of. You've just got direct competitors across it. We should have just had a giant brand dodgeball game or something like that.
Wait, and the biggest sponsor of the entire event
didn't even have anybody there.
There was no booth, no one there. Booth. I got more tape last year in my bag than I did this year.
Yeah, last year they had a whole table that was like a pyramid of tape.
Well, let's see. Notice that the marketing director there is not the same guy as last year. Probably because that guy got fired. He took 1 whole quarter's worth of product.
But that guy did it
and
right,
he was just
man.
Eating it out like
slinging
it was
tape.
Yeah, but then think about how many hundreds of makers went home and used X-Fasten tape for months.
Oh, dude,
I still have X-Fasten
I still have
tape.
some. I drove last year, and he sent me home with a box.
So the last day while they were doing the what do you call it, the obstacle course thing, I went up to Kristen and I said, hey, can I make a suggestion? She said, sure. So the little box that the X Fasten knife came in, unless you opened that,
Oh
you
my
wouldn't
God.
know that there was a knife in it. Like you would have no idea. So some people just by default put those in their check bags. Some people drive home, but I'm like, can you just next time everybody is together and you're making announcements, just let everybody know that there's a knife in their swag bag. And
It was a
if they're
Swiss Army
flying
knife,
home,
by the
to
way,
put
but
that
still a
in
knife.
check, make sure it's in a checked bag, because I can see a lot of people getting hassled at the airport because there's no indication outside of the it looks like it's a weird it's
be
cool
candy.
it's cool packaging, but it looks like there would be like candy or something in there. I'm
Yeah.
like, no, that's a
Like a
TSA is
school
gonna give
supply
you
product or something.
gonna give
Yeah.
you the business for trying
I
to bring
mean-
that onto their plane.
There was probably 30 people at the Atlanta airport reliving the scene from Talladega Nights. Oh, not my prison shank, Nana. In the garbage.
It's not like you can like lie and be like, oh, it's a family heirloom.
Sir, this says X Fasten.
Oh, the funny thing was at some point someone had opened it and they took the saw out. You know, there's always the saw one that's like little alligator teeth on it, kind of
Yeah.
sharp. I think it was Justin, and he's like, feel this saw blade. I feel it. I haven't giggled that hard in years. It felt just like bumps. Like someone forgot to sharpen them, or better yet, they die cut it, but then toss it into one of those bean tumbler things where like it makes everything smooth.
Yeah.
Dude,
You
there was
drilled it.
no way you would cut anything with this except maybe foam.
I haven't opened it. Actually, I didn't bring mine home because I didn't have room in my bag, so Morgan got
There
mine.
you go. He's got two.
But-
He's gonna
But
do
Evan
it.
sent me home with his because he couldn't fly with it, so I put it in my checked bag.
So you still have one.
So yeah, but I'm supposed to ship it to him.
Also, shout out to Evan, who won the like
Inspiration Award.
Inspiration Award for Maker of the Year. Young Evan at Evan's Wood Shop. Oh, it's
On
my-
his birthday,
yeah,
no
it's,
less.
it's on my cup. But yeah, he won that award. So congrats to him. Boom. There you
Evan's
go.
workshop.
Workshop, not wood shop. See, I did the thing that I hate that people do to me.
Oh,
which
this
is
isn't.
which is super impressive because I stuffed the ballot box with Daniel Dunlap.
Right? It's
There's probably 8. That's probably actually why they threw all of them out. There was more entries for Dan than there were attendees.
Must be present to win, kind of deal.
how sharp is that
Dan
knife
is a president.
or that saw blade?
It's, I mean, like
It's ribbed for whose pleasure?
It's obviously
hang on.
not very sharp.
we get right up by the.
Yeah, nothing.
Nothing.
It's so
nothing.
quiet. There's nothing, no noise to cancel.
No,
There's an interesting show title idea. Ribbed for whose pleasure?
Whose pleasure?
ribbed for everyone's pleasure.
Um,
On that note, I think it's my bedtime.
no, we're not done yet.
I'm kidding. I'm not going
done,
anywhere.
Stone.
But aside from that,
Night
I
is
gotta
young.
say though, the smaller event, honestly, it wasn't bad. At first, I think it was just scary. We're all like, "Oh man,
Yeah.
it's happening! Like the writing is on a wall. It's here." Then we like just started hanging out. It was really intimate, and like it's 250 people, but like we all know like more than half of them. So like you just kind of interacted with people you knew, and then the other half you're like, "Hey, I'm Stone." You know, I lied to people. I was like, "I'm Stone. I know I look skinnier on video," and then I made new friends.
And I know my stepdad is more handsome
Yeah.
than me, but you're just, here's what you got. You got to deal
I
with me
talked
right
to so many people that I would have never talked to at one of those events usually. So that was really cool.
Well, I think it was like you said, you get to talk to people you don't usually get to talk to, but also like because there were so many, like there's probably half as many people as there are in previous years, but like because of that, not only did I get to talk to people I wouldn't have, I got to talk to people that even if I had talked to them, I wouldn't have got to talk to them as long, just because I'm so worried about trying to make sure I see everybody, you know?
Right. You had more meaningful, longer conversations with people than, like you spent more time with the people that were there. And that's, there's a lot of value in that. Like those conversations are more meaningful than having to pop around and see like everybody.
Well, and it's also nice, like people that we know really well, like you guys, like we actually get to sit down and like talk and just like
Sing
Not-
some karaoke.
sing some karaoke, just like do like all the fun stuff and not just be so overwhelmed because there's not enough time.
To use Braden's phrase here, his favorite phrase, the friends we meet along the way are the friends we meet along the way, right?
Strangers are just people I haven't met.
Met yet. Exactly.
I noticed it seemed like there was a lot of people missing that we normally would see, but I did notice, and I think we talked about this a little bit, the ratio of women makers to men makers also seemed a little bit higher this year. Like there was a lot of women makers and like new to the conference, kind of new to the
community.
Community. I wanted to say economy, but I knew that wasn't correct.
We moved the economy along. Yeah.
But new to the community.
Scene, like we're running nightclubs here, like new to the scene.
The scene.
But it's really cool seeing that side grow, because I've also seen some commentary recently about like women makers in the community, and it's it's a very male driven kind of area. It's woodworking, like it's working with your hands, but it's really cool seeing that that community grow.
Yeah, like our new
had,
patron, Michelle Peterson, right?
Yep. Yeah, I talked to Michelle yesterday.
I meet Michelle like face to face, and
I loved this.
She was a little confused that like who I was, and I'm like, oh, because she literally got introduced to me as, oh, this is Michelle, she's our new patron, and I'm like, oh, hey, I'm Pete. She was like, okay, yeah, like very confused. She had no idea who I was, but like I think it was just.
She's who I was,
but
I think she's a patron of the podcast because Duffy got her in. He's buddies, or she's buddies with Duffy.
But
so I am very forgettable
and not watch.
I don't know, but
because that could be like if she only listens and doesn't watch.
Am I that forgettable, guys?
You, right?
But we appreciate the patronage, so still thank you for following. But I mean, you're right. There was like very like. Not only was there a higher ratio of women to men, but again, newbies or first timers because do you guys remember last year? There was a lot more, obviously there was a ton of people there last year. It was still a big year. But then in the evening, when we hung out in the lobby, it felt super light.
People would go up to their rooms.
You mean tonight?
Or last year.
This year or
last year? Last year. Because it was still like, probably 400 or 500 people there. But the lobby still felt like it was light.
I feel like
a lot of like the newer makers, they feel like they just didn't feel comfortable to hang out there, so they left. Everyone was hanging out this year. It was awesome.
Yeah, like pretty much everybody that came was there hanging out.
Yeah.
Well, it's a lot less scary when you're just like one of 47 people instead of one of 470 people. So.
It's intimidating, dude. The first time that I went to Workbench Con, I was working for another brand, but I wasn't there on their behalf. Like I wasn't there, like it wasn't on official business, but people did recognize me from that and thought that was really kind of my only function in capacity, was that I was like a spokesperson. Not that I was actually a maker or knowledgeable in any way at like doing or making things. And so, like a Billy Mays type guy, like just like a pitch guy. And so there was a lot of like, there was a lot of like skepticism. Like what is he doing here? Like it was weird. So like, it was really hard to connect with people that year. But there were a handful of people that I met that were super open and super welcoming and kind, and that's what kept me coming back and just kind of still trying to forge my way in the community and like,
oh, you're in, baby.
Well, to where I actually met people and they realized that I was actually here because I personally have stake in this, and that like I am a maker. I do make things, and I care about the community. Not that I'm just like the ShamWow guy pitching products for a brand.
Where did you get steak?
Flex Seal.
Flex Morgan.
Did you say steak?
Speaking of steak, the hot pot across the street.
My God,
slaps.
These guys
I wanted to go to that the first night, and everybody's like, "No, let's."
Well, that was when we were going to get burgers.
I might go there by myself.
Justin and Braden and I are walking around. We're peckish. We could like eat something. I was like,
And
why don't we just do like the burger
Wednesday.
place?
Like nobody's there.
Yeah, no one's there yet. And we're like, I'm like, let's get something like a quick little lunch and then we'll grab dinner later. And they're like, yeah, that's fine. And then like a second later, how about hot pot? I'm like, I've never been. Sure, whatever. But I don't want to eat too much. It's like basically all you can eat.
It's the best thing ever.
But
It's
here's the thing: we sit down, and Braden just vibes with the waiter right away. And like, I don't know how to order. I'm like, just YOLO. You guys do your thing.
I heard about
And-
that.
I want to point out the waiter is from Iowa, so he's a Midwestern boy.
Waiter was great, amazing, 12 out of 10, highly recommend. But
Jeb, shout
Braden
out.
just goes us up, just us up, just we trust you, us up. Like that's it. That was the order. So he proceeded then to F us up and gave us, because it's, they'll only bring so many different styles of meat or whatever at a time. There was no room on a table.
He packed that table. You know that you've got the right guy when you say F us up and he says not,
Challenge accepted.
sir, please don't use that language. It's, well,
Bet.
I got you.
Yeah, bet. And
I
walked
got
out.
you. I got you. And then he
You
just turned
knew
and
at
walked
that
away. And
moment
then he just
you were
turned and
done.
walked away. Just
Yeah.
disappeared. Next thing we knew, we couldn't see the table. We ate every animal from snout to tail.
We did. There's literally oxtail,
love that.
beef tail.
Oxtail and beef tongue.
Did
Beef
oxtail-
tongue, yeah. The
never
other
done
thing
beef
was,
tongue.
it was,
I'm not a
first of all, it
fan
was like
of
$30 per meal, $5 extra for the hot pot or whatever.
Or for,
like
like,
we
the
did some
noodles.
rough math. We're like, oh, this is like gonna be easy. That
that's
bill
very
was
reasonable.
$187 somehow for 3 people. And we're like, how? And we realized
That's
we ordered
very
like
reasonable.
a $30 bottle of sake and like a bunch of other stuff.
Yeah.
So it gets out of control fast, even at one of those
Boy
places.
math.
Yeah,
We
but
didn't have our
it's
math
one of those
guy.
things. You only get to see your buddies ever so often.
Yeah.
Gotta
And
go
like,
out.
it wasn't about the money. We were just like, what? How much did
Our
we
math
order?
was so wrong.
We're like, my math. We didn't have Dan there to do the math for us. It was great. It was fun to do, but man, I felt like full, not like bloated or bad. Just I felt full for 2 days.
If you don't feel bloated or sick, you didn't eat enough.
Yeah.
That's how
Well,
that's how I
I mean,
approach
again,
it.
the food was
Welcome to
decent.
traveling with Morgan. It's a fun time sharing a bathroom.
We used so Braden, the loving chap that he is, we had 2 rooms. He got conjoined rooms, that butthole, and he insisted on the conjoining door to be open all the time so we could pretend like we have a king's suite. But anyways, we used his bathroom
done that.
for boom booms the whole time.
We've done that. We the 2 of us. We always travel like Stoner and I always share a room, but sometimes other people. And when we were up in Toronto, somebody else was there, and we had the conjoining rooms, and we just kept the door open the whole time
For like a week.
Yeah,
We were there
It
for
felt
a
like
week.
it felt like dorm life. It felt like we were back in the college dorm.
It did.
Yeah, listen, I want to be able to like stay up late giggling and telling secrets like I'm at cheerleader camp with my
I love-
friends.
I
Oh,
love
guys,
the
and the
feeling
pillow
like
fights. You
you're,
would not
like,
believe the
ready-
pillow fights.
Everybody's in bed and somebody like wanders to like the door that's in the middle and just leans against the doorway and just starts a conversation as the go-between. I love that. I love doing that.
So that's great. But what happened was me and Justin are in the room. I'm already dozing off to Bluey, right? And
It's a bluey.
And the
I'm dozing
adjoining
off.
room is strangers.
And-
we don't
and-
know.
I hear just a garbage man just kicking the door of the room next to us. Turns out it's Braden, and he brings a kit and caboodle of people in, and I'm literally like, I'm tucked in bed. And then they all proceed to tuck me in. Several people tucking me in. And then I got really hot. I'm like, what is going on? And before I know it, it's 3 a.m. They're still there. I'm like, please go away. I just want to go to sleep.
Listen, Jeff Hankey and I, we giggle, we tell secrets, we talked about like conspiracy theories, like we were 2 total brain cells between the both of us, and
Just
they could not find each other to rub against each other.
Jeff is great, except that one night when he like disappeared for forever, and we found out that he's still alive when we were on a flight. Like literally Saturday night, he didn't come back, and then we found out he was still alive
Yeah.
the next day. So we're like, okay.
Yeah.
And the small amount of like worry that we had for him, we're bad friends.
And Jeff can handle himself. He's
I
a big
woke
boy.
up Sunday morning to a completely empty discount King Suite, just all alone by my lonesome because everybody's gone to the airport.
I
Jeff
kissed your
has
goodbye.
bought like a last second flight so that he didn't have to drive with TJ
Oh, he
for
did end up
22
getting it.
hours.
Sorry,
And
my Siri started talking.
I was just like, well, but what do I do with myself? What do I do with my hands? There's nobody to talk to, and I'm lonely.
Oh, what do you do with your hands when you got the room for another 2 hours by yourself?
Stone had to get to the airport. Here's how much me and Stone love each other. Stone had to get Sunday morning. Stone had to get to the airport. I didn't have to be up at any particular time because I was driving home, but he had to get up, and like I heard him, packing up and getting ready to go, rustling around, and I like woke up. I was like, hey, and he's like, oh, I'm on my way out the door, and he's just like stopped what he's doing, put his bags down. He's like, give me a hug.
He did. He sat up in
So
bed.
I'm like in bed. I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, all right, yeah,
He's in his underwear, sits up, and I just big bear hug.
yeah.
See, that's the kind of tender love that I expect from my Discount King Suite mates.
You had a head clone of me that you cuddled every night. And
That's
for
how
some
much-
reason Stone one night.
And now
It was
That's
just in
it.
my bed when I showed up. That's all I know. I got to the room and it was there, and I was tired. So
Making my way through all the makers.
Getting that thing signed was probably the highlight of this year for me because I had so many strange
Yeah,
conversations.
nice. There you go. Fits perfectly.
yeah,
Oh,
right.
man.
Well, because it's head, it's made for human heads.
Yeah. And then I got to walk around with some people like, hey, can you sign my head? And then I would just like pull it out. Like, oh, okay, this is weird. Yeah. Don't kill me.
I demonstrated to several people just how grippable it was because nobody believes me. And then like I'd show people and they're like, oh yeah, no, that actually, yeah. So
Oh yeah, one hand to get
Yeah,
it.
I've
You look
never
weird
felt
walking through
so
a parking
much-
lot with that.
I've never felt so much like Michael Jordan as being able to like
Palm
palm Pete's head.
I had one moment of real serious confusion when I was asking people to sign it. I walked over to the Total Boat booth, and Mike and Kristen from Total Boat are there, and I'm like, "Can you guys sign my head?" And she goes, "KB," and I'm like, "What?" I'm like, and then I realized you're KB. There's KB initials on my nose, and he's like, "Yeah," and I signed your, and he just like swooshes his hair behind his ear, like behind the ear, like got the two spots. I'm like, okay, that was just very confusing when she just like took a stance and was like, KB.
I was flattered. Braden brought it to me, and I was like the second person to sign it, so I got to pick where I put it. So
The first person was Pete.
Yeah, I signed
Yeah.
my forehead until Rosie just wrote over my name.
Yeah, Rosie took the like valuable real estate like right on the forehead.
That's fine. They signed all the good, other people
I
signed all
didn't
the
even
good
put a
spots.
real name.
There you go. There's that too.
I drew a heart with my name. That was just for you.
All right. Well, actually, you know what? Why don't we jump into questions? Because a lot of the questions are about Workbench Con. And I think we'll get into some more nonsense with that.
Just real quick, I was very proud. I did have an opportunity to use the phrase "Donde está la biblioteca" because the VIP room was in the library.
Was in a library. Yep.
Yep.
Although
that's it.
no, so I asked Steph when we were heading over there. I was like, "Steph, is it in the library?" She's like, "No, I think it's the lodge." I'm like, "Okay, I think we're going to a different spot." And we go in there, and I was like, "Oh, this is what I meant by the library." And she's like, "Yeah, but it says the lodge. It is giant banner letters, the lodge." I'm like, "Oh, okay, yeah."
But Braden, did you have to go out of your way to seek out someone whose first and only language was Espanol?
No,
To be able
I
to
just
do
started
that?
ask. I just asked everybody.
no,
Okay.
he asked the British people in a room.
I did. Oh
Gotcha.
man,
They're
Vectric.
close to Spain.
Yeah, it's pretty close.
Yeah, that's it. All right. Why don't we get into questions? All right, let's start with this one from Skylar Jr. from Surf Prep. Got Brand's calling in now, guys. We made it.
My
Right?
guy. I love him.
Hey, what's up, Braden, Stone, and Morgan? This is Sky Jr.
And Pete. Cool.
Suck
Hoping
it,
you
Pete.
guys got home safe with all your travels. First of all, it was just great hanging out with you guys, and I wish we could do it more often. And then a few questions for you. As a vendor or a company, what are some things that we could improve or do differently, maybe to help you guys, the makers, out. And then, what was your favorite session or like the keynote speaker? Appreciate you guys.
So I thought that was a question for me and Morgan originally, but I think that was for you guys.
Oh, for you too.
Well, he's
As a brand, how can you be better brands for brands?
Well, I'll tell you. I'll answer this question in the most polite feedback that I could give Workbench Con, and that goes to all brands. Number one thing is communication, because I'll give you an example of another brand. One of my favorite brands, Laguna, terrible with communication, unfortunately. And I know several people that have had issues. They cannot get a straight answer, or they get put into a queue with a ticket or something. You email, Onefinity or Bits+Bits or any of the other brands that we truly believe in, that we use all the time. And when they get back to you right away,
Surf Prep, for example.
yeah, like
One.
super fast response. They're willing to work with you, figuring out what the issue is. Even if it's user error, they're very nice about it. That's huge. I think that's huge, and speaking from experience, I know that's one area that Workbench Con could have been a little better with. Their communication. I know they lost their person that was handling a lot of the emails at one point. That was helping them out with that. But the communication is huge. That's how you're going to stay on top of all this stuff. That's number one thing. And the second one is just actually openly asking and listening for feedback for improvements. Because I think that's where you can make as long as you answer emails and listen, that's all you got to do. That's my 2 cents. But Stone, I'd love to hear from you guys as a brand too.
Yeah, so I had a lot of people ask me while we were there, either people just that were attending or the advisory board or other brands. And I think one thing that I personally think would do really well and would be very beneficial for everyone, brands and the attendees, would be to have well, let me back up. So there's always some sort of class that an attendee, like a maker, will teach or talk about working with brands. And that's all great. But I don't understand, and this is what I told everyone, was I don't understand why we as a brand don't get an opportunity to go and tell people, hey, this is the kind of stuff that we're looking for. These are the whether it's metrics or whatever kind of numbers or engagement or types of content, like all the stuff that we are looking for when we're looking at someone who is going to represent our company. Because in the end, like, yes, you can want to work with a brand, but if a brand doesn't give you the go ahead, then you don't have it, So like, let the people who are making those decisions talk about what they want to see out of you, what they're trying to get out of you, because that I feel like is going to be more valuable than someone who is already doing that saying, this is how I did it, because it's not always going to be the same thing with every brand. So that kind of gives you, I don't know, maybe like a panel of some sort, something like that, where you could get people from Onefinity or Surf Prep or Vectric or Carve, like not just CNC stuff, like you've got Cutsall there, get Lee up there, or Mush, who's, teaching how to do this stuff, or have Kristen from Total Boat say up there talking about, these are the things I look for when I'm looking for someone who's going to represent us, because the people that are making those decisions know better than anybody what needs to be done to make that happen.
Dude, I would love to see that.
I would say, I would mirror exactly what Stone said. Like, and just to go a little further, like, I've actually talked to several other people that work for brands that also attend Workbench Con, being like, I've tried to organize. I have actually tried to organize that to where like we have a panel where like there's people that will give these classes about working with brands, and they're just creators who have managed to make those relationships and make deals and stuff, and they're talking about their experience, and that's just one way, and that's just how they did it. But a panel of brands, you're going to have a range, a full spectrum of like, well, this brand, this is what they're looking at most. This one looks at things differently, but like all these different brands saying like, here's what you have to do to like get in the door. Like for us, it's not necessarily like a numbers thing. Like your follower count, it's not like, of course you can't, but like over 100 would be ideal. But like it's not like if you have like hundreds of thousands of followers, but you just don't really fit the bill, that doesn't matter. Like you don't fit the bill. And there's a lot of intangibles that we look for that are hard to really communicate. And having a panel where people can like just ask questions to actual brands, not people who have connected with brands, but the actual brands, to be able to answer and say like, this would be great. We would like if you did X, Y, and Z, we would work with you.
You guys got to get Skylar next year, and like if Workbench Con is happening again, pitch that.
Yeah,
I want to see that. I would love to see that class. I would sit in on that panel.
I noticed last year that Surf Prep did this, and I noticed a couple other brands did this pretty well this year. They were really, really deliberate, and they set up specific web addresses to like forms or like just their application process to work with that brand. They made it so crystal clear on, hey, this is what we need you to do for next steps, that brands that aren't doing that, I think that that's a huge missed opportunity, because, just like you guys said, what you're looking for, at Onefinity, what Surf Prep's looking for, what Walrus Oil is looking for, they're all super different. And so if a brand doesn't kind of like define what they are looking for, at least in some loose sense, because there's always like an outlier, but if you don't have like a loose sense of you're looking for people that create a lot of, engaging short form or are on long form or have 100,000 followers, like just some sort of basis, it can kind of help those conversations and those experiences, because if somebody's just not even close to the brand, they'll be able to figure that out, or at least you'll be able to kind of weed through them when you get all the applications.
Yeah. Well, that's why Onefinity has me and Stone. Like there's like, online forums that brands will have, like, do you want to work with us? Like, here's, fill in this information. Like, what's your account? What's your, what are your followers on this? What are your subscribers on that? And that's just data. That's all that is. But like, they send me and Stone out to these events, and we go all around, and we talk to all these people, and we have all these relationships where like, it's more of almost like an intuition. It's more of a gut kind of thing, where like, we know I don't care if somebody's got 1 million followers. If I don't like them, we're not working with them. Like if somebody, we get a sense of who we want to work with. And so not every brand does it like that. I would say there are probably not many that do, but it's worked for us.
But the ones that do, I'll tell you right now, that the people that are similar to what we're doing and working with people like that, we all talk and everybody knows everything about what's going on. So it's one of those things where I think people don't think of it as like they don't think of the other side of it. Whereas like, you could talk to one brand, and the way you talk to that brand is going to have an impact on every brand you talk to after that, because those people talk. So just, I think being very conscious of that stuff is very important,
Yep.
That's a really good point. I had Rowdy Roman reach out to me just like out of the blue, and I've never had a conversation with him about the Swinger dust boot. And it was because you and I talk, and he's like, hey, Stone said that you create the kind of content that, that would be a good fit for this product, and you work with Onefinity and all that. So yeah, I mean, it's good to know, that that's an actual secret conversation text chat that you guys all have. That is important. And my point wasn't necessarily that data should be the deciding factor, but it's really nice, especially for people that don't have as personal relationships as like we do with all the brands. It's nice having kind of a more distinguished starting point, or like hey, this is my next step.
Yeah.
I also like when a brand gives you clear guidelines or communicates a continuous relationship. Like they're not in it for just the one and done. And obviously sometimes, we've all been with a brand that's like, hey, could you do another story for this thing? I know it wasn't part of the deal, but like just promote it. But the ones I'll name a couple. Like I work with Brunt and they reach out regularly. Like, hey, we're trying to put some gas behind this new thing we're launching. We're gonna send you a pair of shoes, or like, I know you've got a pair. Do you mind doing a quick story or something? Like, love that they keep communicating and like thinking of me to help them with their campaign. Another one is like I'm holding a 3-page white sheet from Festool that literally is 2025 campaigns. They outline all the big campaigns they're planning for the year. So like they like content around those things. And I always reach out to, when I talk to brands, I'm like, tell me what you like to focus on. I've done this with Onefinity too. Be like, are you guys looking to focus on this? Like, can we, like, do you want this type of content? And also what type of content they want, what they don't want in it, how they want it to be, obviously you need to, like, for certain posts, you got to have some kind of ad hashtag ad or whatever on them. So having some kind of guidance, like it doesn't need to be this fleshed out, but just like program guidelines, what we like to see, what we want to see from our creators. If you have an idea for a bigger project that you might need maybe more equipment, pitch it to us this way. And there's like a form. Autodesk is another one that like they're really clear with what they'd like to see. And it's not necessarily strict, but it gives you some roadmap to work with that brand and be a good ambassador, and the brand also not having to like, hey, where's my content? I think that's good too when it just happens organically.
Yeah.
I think also we had a second question here. Let's see from the where is it? Yeah, Skylar had I think the
he
second half
asked
of his
what
question.
your favorite class
for our company, what are that we could improve or do differently, maybe help you guys, the makers, out.
Oh, yeah.
And then what was your favorite session or like the keynote speaker?
Oh, yeah, that.
Appreciate you guys.
Yeah. So favorite session, Stone.
I only went to one, so
The one.
But it was a good one because it was very applicable to my everyday life. It was I went the second day, but I went to Kyle's Vectric tips and tricks class, and it
You
was
work with CNCs?
I do. I know it's kind of weird, right?
He's not just a pretty face.
Not just a pretty face.
I know,
Who
right?
would've
I can
thought?
actually do stuff. It's wild. But no, it was just like learning stuff that just little tips and tricks to make you designing and Vectric go faster. But it was just little things that are helpful that some of them I had heard before, but it was nice to be reminded and get to support somebody that we like. So
Yeah, Kyle's great. If you haven't met Kyle, he's
awesome.
one of the
dude.
good ones.
Morgan.
I went to 0 sessions.
Oh.
Stone went to 1 session, so somebody had to look after the booth.
So keynote speaker was your favorite then?
So I would say my favorite session would be lunch in the hot tub.
That
was a good one.
My
That was a
favorite
good one.
session. Wasn't like an officially sanctioned one, but it's worked out for us. I think it went great.
Human physiology and the effect of making on the human body.
There we go. That's good.
I missed
Exactly.
that class on the
You
schedule.
didn't wait 30 minutes after eating though. I was very upset with you as a former lifeguard.
Yeah, but we were still like it was never where we were too deep to like.
That's true.
We were literally just
stood
sitting.
up.
It's basically we were just sitting.
They stood up and the water was at their knees. So
Pretty much, yeah.
Except Jeff
No,
was up to his waist.
it started out so like I just discovered, like I was saying earlier, I just discovered the spa area, like right there. I never knew it was there. And so I was talking to Dave and Jeff, and like a couple of us were in there like looking around. There's like the gym and the sauna and all this stuff. And I was like, man, it's so quiet in here. It's because like nobody knows that this is here. I think I might eat lunch in here.
Best kept secret.
Yeah, I was like, I think I might eat lunch in here tomorrow. And Dave was like, we could eat lunch in the sauna. And Jeff was like, we could eat lunch in the hot tub. And so I thought at that point, I thought we were just joking. And then the next day, Dave comes up. He's like, I'm getting a plate and I've got my suit. Are you coming? And I'm like, oh, I guess we weren't just joking.
Okay.
But this is actually happening.
Nothing like a plate full of cold shrimp getting warm.
Yeah.
Steamed
Yeah.
shrimp.
Sitting in a, just a bath of hot water. Somebody called it man stew.
A human soup.
Man soup.
Oh, I hate that.
That was
It
my
was
favorite
great
session.
for my lower back. That's all
I know.
I
So
bet.
I was actually supposed to teach a class this year that that it didn't work out. So I pitched this last year, but I did it way too late. It was like 2 weeks before Workbench Camp or Workbench Camp. Workbench Con.
Wow, way to combine two events there.
Workbench Camp. That's what the new thing can be
MakerCon.
called.
Texas Workbench Camp.
Yes, Texas Workbench Camp. And so it was too late then. But then this year it was like, okay, yeah, like this is good. We want to do it. We'll send over a contract. Like, okay, cool. And that was months ago. And the contract just didn't get sent. And like a couple weeks before, I was like, hey, just checking in. Like, do you want to do this? If you do, I need to know now because this takes some preparation. And then it was like the Wednesday before Workbench Con that I got a contract sent to me. I'm like, well, now, no,
Yeah.
I can't. Now I can't.
It's too late. That's the communication thing again.
That's super weird. And luckily, you are the absolute only person that had that sort of communication breakdown. You're the only person. The only
That's what I'm
one.
told. I know they've got a lot going on. Like I honestly, I offered. I was like, because I know that some people they have to like bring in and pay to speak and for their accommodations and their travel and all that stuff. I was like, I'm gonna be there anyway. If you want me to do this, like I'll do it. And it was like it was a free lunch for them, and they were like, oh, they sent me a contract like the week before.
Yeah,
Like,
it's a
nope.
bummer.
Yep.
Braden, did you go yet?
No, my favorite class, I did 3 this year, which is triple my normal average. I was super impressed. Pete dragged me to them. So, Pete and I went to Ryan from Cutting It Close's, like, this is how you do Etsy class, which was a lot of really, really good information. But the reason it's my favorite is because he asked for some crowd participation. He asked if anybody had any ideas on like what he could type into Etsy to pull up like listings and see, basically he was going to like critique some listings for us so that we could see how we could all improve. And Pete, Justin, and I are sitting at the back of the class like the jokesters that we are, and we yell out brass cutting board feet.
Actually, Justin didn't even yell it out. He whispered it as a joke.
Justin was sitting next to us saying, do not do it.
And me and
Don't do it."
Braden are like, brass cutting board feet.
And the best part is that he didn't even type in brass cutting board feet. He proceeded to give us like a well thought out list of reasons why brass cutting board feet would be an awful product.
Never
to
do
sell on
well.
Etsy.
Meanwhile,
Never
we're
do
sitting
well.
next
There's
to the
no
guy
way.
that made 6 figures on Etsy with brass cutting board feet last year. So and he's like, he's sinking into his seat. He's just getting shorter and shorter, and we're just like, we're defending it.
Oh yeah, we got into it a little bit, and then we stood up and walked out to go to the Onefinity picture.
Yeah,
and
we
like,
left at the end of the presentation.
Did they really feel that strongly about brass cutting board feet that they just walked out of the class?
I think
And
that's kind of funny.
We love brass cutting board
because
feet.
Ryan
We're
also has a
uncompromising about it.
Onefinity.
Oh yeah.
yeah.
Should have brought him with you.
But that was my favorite class for just that 1 minute. I mean, it was a really good class,
Ridiculous.
but that minute, that was a core memory for me.
I
Brass
understand
cutting board
now why
feet.
we were talking about brass cutting board feet still at like 9 o'clock that night. It makes a lot more sense now.
For me, it was Tyler from the Southern Craftsman. He basically, I forget the name of the class, but I think the theme of the class was Peter's a POS and he doesn't do enough and he needs to do better with his business and you're a failure. Like that's, I think, the theme he made it really broad, but it felt very like he was yelling at me for not doing enough. And it genuinely fired me up. It was the first class. And I think that was one of the things that I'm like, all right, I need to go to more classes. I got to see what else is up. And I honestly, the other good class, so Ryan's class was great. He kept referencing, I think, Christy, his accountant. And I was like, I did see the accounting class. And I was like, maybe I should go to it. I'm like, it's going to be really boring. But once I knew that, like, that's his accountant, I'm like,
That's
I got to go
get
see.
an accountant.
Yeah, and I went, and I actually was a really good class. There's a lot of stuff I knew. But there's a couple things that I'm like, okay, like this I need to ask my accountant about. So, very good insight on that. So, out of the 5 classes, I'd say, you know what, 4 solid ones.
We also made beautiful art. Brittany Carbone's how to make moon art was just a fun little way to break up the day, because that's something I would.
I did
would never
see
do.
that. That looked really cool.
I don't have a creative bone in my body, so I appreciated her help with that. That was good. All right, let's keep.
I had to trust the process on that one.
You had one of the best ones, so I shut up. Yeah, he was like, I don't know what I'm doing. Best one in a class. Get out of here. All right, let's get through these questions because we got a bunch here. Alex Adams.
I finally found my question blanket so I can start sending in questions again. So with meeting so many great people at Workbench Con, how do you keep up with all of the awesome things that they are posting and creating? Because there's so much that I could probably spend all day watching things that people have made. Also, pickles?
My short answer is you don't.
I was about
You
to
try
say,
to.
you do your best, but there's no way. Like,
Hopes and dreams.
as a brand, it's a little easier because everybody's tagging you because they want you to share it. So we get the tags. But other than that, like, if I don't get tagged, there's
Can't
no
keep up.
telling. We're probably not going to see it because there's so many of them.
Nope.
But yes,
Like if
pickles.
somebody adds me on Instagram or whatever that I met and I recognize that, I'll follow them back, and then it will become part of my feed.
And then you see them for a week, and
that's it. But like,
that's it.
I'm not. It's not like I'm setting a schedule. Be like, all right, I met these people. Check in with like it just that's not feasible. You just
I mean, if it's somebody that we're working with that's relatively new, like I'll periodically check in on their social media or like send them a message or whatever. But like these guys, Braden and Pete and Dan, like we've been working with all 3 of them for a while. We know them really well. Like I don't have to keep tabs on people like that.
I barely see Dan's stuff in my feed too. Like that.
Yeah.
It's like
I hardly ever see Dan's stuff too.
Well, like I see it when he tags us, but like it's one of those things. Like my personal account, I'm probably more likely to see stuff just because it's not very big.
Yeah.
But like the Onefinity account, everything gets lost in the mix.
It's weird. Like my feed, it seems oddly devoid of the content that like I've engaged with over the years. So like certain accounts that like I follow and really do want to see, I don't know why it's not showing. Like I would say it's been months since I've seen anything from Mark Spagnolo. From the Woods.
God,
like,
I opened YouTube today and he was right there on the
Wood,
front
like
page.
like my I never say like meaning that I would have to consciously think to go to his account, to go to his profile and look at what he's up to. If I don't think of it and search for it, I'm not seeing it.
And I feel like Instagram specifically has gotten really bad about that in like the last year and a half or so. Like instead of pushing you the content that you're engaging with, it's just whatever they think is
it's like suggested to you. It's a real bummer.
I get more suggested content than content from people I actually follow.
Same.
I think.
And the
For
suggested
ads.
content
It's always
sucks.
ads.
Yeah.
It
Braden,
sucks
you have
so
any other answer?
Buckle up and hope. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
I just developed a like crippling social media addiction. So I see all of y'all's content because I just do this for like 17 hours a day. Just
I do
nonstop.
too, but I go into the not the explore, but the Reels page. Just
I
I'm
will
off,
say,
I'm off
like,
TikTok
that's
now. I've been TikTok clean for a while, so
I probably see more because like it is kind of my job. So like
Yeah.
there will be times periodically I'll scroll through, the Facebook group or Instagram or whatever, but for the most part, you just can't keep up with
You
it.
can't. That's fine.
Well, and if
Can't
you
see them
announce
all.
if you announce that you're in the Facebook group, they'll all accost you on when's my stuff shipping. By the way, when's my stuff shipping?
We'll talk about that later. Yeah. All right, another quick one from Alex Adams.
Hey guys, I've got a question for
Cat
Morgan
purring again.
and Stone about how
It's
to
a cat.
get Onefinity into the shop when there are some either space or layout constraints. I know that there are some officially supported options that Onefinity has in order to make that happen, as well as some creative options that Onefinity owners have done to make it possible to have that machine in their shop. So I'm curious to hear on what some of those options are, as well as some of the pros and cons of choosing a certain layout or storage method to make it possible to have a Onefinity in the shop.
This is a good one because this is the 5th time in the last, say, 10 days that I've had somebody ask, how do I fit a Onefinity in my shop?
Yeah, Morgan, I feel like you can speak to this because you have, I think, every mounting and hiding option in your shop.
How is the ceiling mount working?
It's
Dust
Air
collection's
weights.
great. It just falls
Gotta-
on the ground.
Yeah, gotta hope that the air weights don't fail.
it would honestly, I could mount this thing upside down, like fully on the horizontal trusses. I could mount it upside down and operate it.
I've had plans for like 2 years to take a like woodworker or a machinist, just because they're smaller, and mount it to the underside of a table and film it like it's right side up, and then like turn the camera and people like realize like, oh, that's
yeah.
actually upside down.
Put on a flip top table.
Because you literally just have to screw it in, and because of the way it's designed, you can do that one rail at a time. So you can do that. You just have to figure out, like you said, work holding. But with the air weights, pretty cool idea.
Yeah,
But
Braden,
I don't
Morgan, you
enough free
have
time.
one under your table, right? And one on your wall.
so I have 3 CNCs in my shop. So my shop is it's 11 by 22, so it's 284 square feet. Not very big, but I have a foreman that's 4 by 4, a woodworker 32 by 32, and then I have like the little what?
You have a foreman in there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
What's your excuse?
Continue. Every time I hear about one of these tiny little shops, I feel bad about myself. So continue.
So like I mean I designed the shop and the layout like very intentionally. It's not like I just had a garage and I started, bringing in tools, bit by bit. Like I was like, okay, this is the exact thing that I'm getting, and these are the dimensions. Here's what I want to have in there. And so I was like super intentional about getting it in there. What I would tell Alex or anybody is vertical space. You've got to not think in terms of square footage, but cubic volume of your shop, because if you like, a lot of people will use like graph paper and make approximations of like the footprint of every tool in their shop, and then like all the stuff that they want in there won't fit. Well, it's because you're looking at it in 2 dimensions. But you start looking at it in 3 dimensions, then there's a lot more possibility there. So I've got my foreman under the main under the outfeed of my main workstation that I have like my router table saw and all that stuff in, and it's where I do all my assembly and everything. But that's on it sits low to the ground, but it's on casters. So on the feet of the quick change wasteboard, there's 3/8 threads there. So if you have casters with a 3/8 stem thread on it, you just screw those in, and now it's on casters. It sits low to the ground, but it's not like a tool that I'm having to sit there and operate. I have to get in there to load and unload material, change bits. But once I hit go, I get up and walk away. So it's not like people are like, oh, it's too low to the ground. You're crouching down. You're not. You're kneeling down for a couple minutes at a time. And if you have a small shop, that minor inconvenience is worth it to be able to have the functionality of a machine in the shop. So, what I would tell anybody is to just consider vertical space, because there's tons of that.
Or wall space.
Or wall space.
Official mount. Yeah.
Yeah. And again, wall space. I've got a little guy, the machinist. It's got a 16 by 16 cutting area. We don't sell a ton of those because it's kind of more of a niche thing that like people are doing like soft metals and stuff. It's really good for that.
Technically, we don't sell a wall mount for the machinist either. I made the one that you got.
Yeah, he actually fabricated one
really
for me. Yeah. But yeah, I've got one on the wall, and then I've got two that sit kind of low to the ground. And it's floor space that would have otherwise just been taken up with, I don't know, needless junk and like storage that I would have just lost things in.
Yeah. You got like handy dandy Brandy with her like double decker too.
Yeah, she's
Andy
got
Bird
like a
did that too.
double decker thing. I just got some stickers from her the other day.
There you go.
So I haven't even opened it yet.
I need to send that picture to you.
You know, adding the tool changer would take away one of the complaints of having your machine low to the ground too, of changing the bits. You just get you just get that.
That's true. Like, yeah. So that's one other process that I wouldn't have to kneel down for, but it's honestly not that big a deal. Like, you just take a knee like you're at football practice.
You don't have to lift heavy stock onto a table. You just let it down.
Yeah, just drop it and like gravity help.
Yeah, it's seriously like it's not that bad. It's not that hard, and it allows me to have a 4x4 machine in what it's essentially like the size of a single car garage.
Yeah, I can't believe you have 3 in there. That's insane.
3 and like not just that, like all the other like normal. So like I've got a miter saw station in the back. I've got a bandsaw. I've got a drill press. I've got table saw, router table. Like it's all in here.
And he still has room for activities.
There. Yep.
I trust anything that Morgan says about organizing a workspace, because literally our very first messages exchanged were Morgan telling me how to organize my shop. I didn't listen to him, but it was the ones that happened. So
I only get naughty photos from him.
Well, we didn't know each other.
Well, the nudes come every other day.
Yeah, now I
get
want
them every day. You got to pay.
Yeah. All right, let's jump into some other questions. We're moving and grooving. This is a quick one, and 2 from Hunter, real quick, back to back.
Hey guys, I had a quick question for you, and that question is, what's the main event?
So I'll give him a quick plug. The main event is an event in Maine that is happening August 9th. So if you're a maker in that area or you're willing to travel, go check that out. I guess Hunter's putting it on with Brandon, right? Yeah, Brandon from Cross the Miter. And I always have to think, because I always want to say Braden, not Brandon. So messes me up. But check that out. And then here's the other question from him.
In all seriousness, though, we would love to ask the community what makes a woodworking event great for you. And we would love to continue to gather ideas and thoughts that the community may have to really make an event better. As we continue to organize the main woodworking event, we just want to reach out and continue to engage with the community to make sure we're providing an event that's going to fill gaps that people feel like are in other events, and just create another unique space where makers can come and engage with each other and leave fulfilled and inspired. So that's my question. Thanks, guys.
I feel like we did answer a lot of that.
One thing though is this might be the most important thing, no matter what type of event you're having, is the food. Because if the food's terrible, everybody's going to complain.
Yep.
If you don't have good food, nobody's going to be happy.
And at least half decent accommodations for the event.
Like, I mean, look at Maker Camp. Are the places that you're going to stay the nicest?
No, but there are options.
There are options.
There are options.
But that's the thing. Just give them options. You don't have to make it the best in the world, but have options, and then have decent food. If everybody is well fed, They're not going to get hangry. Everybody's going to be
Yep.
happier. And that's one of those things, like, if the food is bad, everybody's going to talk about it, you know?
And if possible, well boozed. If you can have an open bar, or not, well, an open bar would be nice, but a bar at an event, it'll help.
Excess,
Especially with this
access.
community.
Yeah.
Yeah. This community, we like this. We like our sauce. Access makes everybody happier.
I heard a story from Austin, who runs a Texas Woodworking Festival, that apparently the first year or two they had it.
No, Maker Camp.
They had it at a brewery, and they literally the police came and shut it down because it got too big. Like the makers got too rowdy, so now they have it at a location. And so, but yeah, have well fed and boozed, and we'll be happy. Except not all the tools are running.
Yeah,
Fun
Morgan,
plug.
it's confusing, but they're both Austin, like the Texas Woodworking Festival.
Oh, yes.
And Maker Camp. Both of those
Both
are
Austin.
run by a man named Austin.
No
but they're different
relation.
people.
And one of them is in Austin by
Yes.
Austin.
One of
for
them's
Austin.
in Austin, by
I
Austin,
get it.
for Austin. Yeah,
Okay.
Jane Austen. Yep.
Okay.
Fun,
Or the
fun
Austin School of
plug
Furniture.
Yes.
to cover the food and beer thing for the main event. It's like 15 minutes from Portland, which is one of my favorite places.
Oh,
There is
From
a place
Portland?
called
I thought that was in Oregon.
Portland, Maine. The better
I
of the
know.
Portland's in the East Coast. There's a place called Duck Fat that makes duck fat rendered French fries of all varieties. That is just muy fantastico.
also Maine's a lobster mac and cheese, right?
There's so many places for lobster rolls that you'll not get tired of it because they're fantastic, but there's a lot of really good places. And then there's also a metric butt ton of breweries out there. One of the best ones is a IPA called Number One Dad by Liquid Riot, which is just a really fun brewery. So just the food and drinks in that area. Oh, so good.
So you're going to the event.
There's a
Bougie-
coin flip chance that I'll go, podcast or no.
Bougie Braden. That's-
Bougie Braden.
I used to travel a lot for my day job, and I did an annual event in Portland, Maine, and I didn't actually care if anybody showed up because I still got to eat and drink. So
I didn't realize it was that close to the airport. So the event's only 15 minutes from the airport, or from Portland, which has an airport, I believe.
yes,
Yeah. So that's good at
and
least.
Portland downtown is like 15, 20 minutes from the airport.
Because that's one of the biggest gripes with Maker Camp. It's like it's 45 minutes. So you need a ride, you got to drive, or you got to rent a car. So it's,
There's
Having
so,
rented
like,
a car, I will never not rent a car at Maker Camp again.
I
Right.
drive the
Yeah, you're
Nebraska
close
boys.
though.
A really fun thing to do too, flights into Portland can be kind of pricey. You can actually fly into Boston and take the mainliner train up. So if you either like trains or have never been on a train, that's kind of a fun experience. It's a really, really pretty ride.
That tickles my tism. I like trains. Yeah, I'm down.
Can you name all of the trains?
And, this episode's not long enough.
Have you guys seen Justin Maybe's train set that he built?
Yes.
So
actually,
It is
super dope.
incredible.
Super dope.
I told him, I was like, I did not
I didn't know you had this in him. Also, his
I
apartment
didn't know you had
like,
it in you.
faces like a train track.
Yeah, so the train that he built the model around, like, is the train that goes past his house every day.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I hate
was
that
just
he's
like,
getting
I saw that
cooler.
'cause- yeah, I mean, like his background is in film, and like actually making stuff was just it's not his background. But
No.
I was just amazed that he was just decided one day, I'm just gonna make this incredible thing, having
Like the
no
mountain
background
and
or
everything.
experience
Dude,
in it.
Yeah.
Such a good job.
I was
If you haven't
Yeah.
seen the reel of him making, like, what he did to make it, you should
Yeah,
check it
go
out.
check
Just
it
'cause
out,
It's just
definitely.
impressive, like, regardless. But the fact
Yeah.
that he's not someone who makes a lot of stuff makes it even better.
yeah, that's the most amazing thing about it is that like he's not used to doing this and just knocked it out of the park first
Although-
try.
Total Boat has been like wearing him away
I know
like,
they've
by
been like
making.
getting
It's
into like, you
attrition,
gotta make
yeah,
things. Yeah.
like you
And
come
they have
on,
like
you
they
know
have
you
shop
want
nights where they get together and do stuff. So like
Yeah.
I'm sure he's making other things, but
it's
regardless,
He's making memories.
What's that one movie like? It's Arts and Crafts Day, but my fingers hurt.
Happy
Oh.
Gilmore.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's right.
Happy
Yes,
Gilmore.
no,
Well,
that's
now
him.
your back's
At the
gonna
retirement
hurt.
I like to be
home.
on lawn duty.
that's
Anybody else
Justin.
tired?
duty.
So good.
What is it? Is it Grandma's Boy?
No,
No,
That's
Happy
Happy Gilmore.
Gilmore.
Whenever
Oh, it's
she
Happy
goes to
Gilmore,
the
okay.
retirement home,
yeah.
You take
Yeah.
care of this. She's a real special lady.
So is
I've
Justin.
never.
You will go
Ben
to sleep,
Stiller
or I will
gets
put
me
you to sleep.
every time. Like in Heavyweights. Does anybody remember
Oh,
Heavyweights? His role in
one of my
Heavyweights?
favorite movies. We were
So
literally
good.
talking about it 2 weeks ago about like the furniture and the posts, and they hid candy inside. Impressive, woodworking for little kids. It's
Yeah.
a good movie.
yeah,
All
I
right.
don't know either, Braden.
Malcolm.
Gentlemen,
There he is.
it was great seeing everyone at Workbench Con last week. The talk of the entire event was the low attendance and how there were going to be replacement events because there might not be an event happening again next year. It was unknown. And I must have had at least 6 different people come up to me and tell me that they were starting an event. And it kind of I got numb to it after a while. Like I was hearing about a new podcast, like we need another one of those. So I'm wondering what you guys think of a new event. And I'm digging the small regional events that will help to replace some of that. But Workbench Con was a large event that I think is going to be pretty hard to replace in our community unless you have another event of the same size or bigger. So I wanted to hear your thoughts. I miss you guys. I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye.
Ooh, big. So big. First of all, there is a new event on the block because there's a new one every week. Another. So the Maker event. It's in May 17th in Omaha, Nebraska, at the Daniel Dunlap Woodworking facility.
Location to be determined.
But it's going to be.
Sponsored by Odie's Oil.
If it's there, it'll have 2 Onefinities there, so it's almost like Stone and Morgan are there. Also, shout out to Dan. We haven't mentioned it yet. He put out a video today on a shop tour, and the funniest part of the video is him standing in front of his Onefinities because they're on a riser. He looks so short.
Great video. Y'all go watch it, but it is funny.
Yeah, but this is a legit thing. I'm booking my flight. We will be there. May 17th is the day we're going to plan it for. It's a Saturday, so if you're in the area, come join us. But I think the big event, and there was rumors that they may, if like Workbench Con goes away, they may move it to the spring if possible. I think Texas Woodworking Festival is sweeping up a lot of people.
Yeehaw.
It's gotten a lot bigger the last 2 years.
And
I will
it
say
is fun.
it's a really fun. Like this past whatever. What was that? November.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now it's
November.
September this year.
Yeah. So it kind of moves around because the way they do it is it's at the convention center, which is public. Like it's a public building. So
Palmer
they
Event
have a
Center.
lottery system where they have to be at least 9 months out to get the building.
Okay.
So like when we were there in November, they were already working on getting the building for this coming September.
Kind of presumptuous of them.
Well, I mean, the show has grown exponentially the last couple of years. I think that it doubled in size this past year from the year before. And there's definitely a lot more makers that were there this year too.
Yeah.
So I could kind of see that going that direction, but it's not the same type of show. Like it's not set up for that. It's a lot of people who are coming in just for the day and they want to see the stuff and they want to talk to the people, but they just are interested in buying the product and moving on with their life. They're not looking for the community aspect of it.
There's
At
no
least not
content.
at
event.
least not all of them. Yeah. So like the content especially, there's not a lot of that. And
I
like,
will say though, Austin really on top of his organization, and like we've been talking about the event with him since January this year. Like he's already talking about this year and planning stuff out.
Yeah.
Answers emails like that. It's great.
I'm just going to point out, we talked about the Texas Woodworking Festival last year, and they doubled in size. Coincidence?
Mhm.
Maybe. I
Ah,
don't know. No. AWP might have that magic.
We went 1 year and it doubled in size the next.
Yeah.
Coincidence?
Onefinity and AWP magic? Quadruple.
I do think
Guaranteed.
there needs to be a Midwest.
Maker meetup?
That's one thing I will say is like there's not a central show for anything really. Like
How about
you've got,
Missouri?
but what's
So-
in Missouri?
Isn't it one
So
in
I-
Missouri, or is it somewhere else? I forget.
So not this last Workbench Con, but last year. Did you see in the lobby, like as you were leaving where all the booths are and heading toward the escalators to the lobby, there was a big map there and said like, "Where are you from?" Put your sticker where you're from. There was nothing in the center of the continent. It was all
Dirty liar. You
East
liar.
Coast.
There's a lot of East Coast, unfortunately.
It's
Mostly
mostly
East Coast,
East Coast,
some West Coast.
some West Coast, hardly anything in the middle.
I feel like
There's at
Texas is the
least
only other place that has
4.
a concentrated group of makers.
Yeah,
There's at least
it has
two
to be an
stickers
easy
in
to
the
fly in
Midwest.
location too.
I think.
Yeah,
see,
I'm just
my
saying, like,
suggestion-
there's a good reason why there isn't one there. It's because
Like Salt
People-
Lake's got a good woodworking
Well, my
community.
thought is like
that's
this is a
not
little selfish,
Midwest,
but
that's West
Dallas,
Coast. That's-
Dallas is very central,
Mm.
and it's easy to fly into no matter where you're coming from. We've got multinational and national airports. We've got all sorts of food, entertainment, nightlife for after the show. Like, I think it would be a pretty great place.
And
Stone
listen, I'm
works
trying to
part
be-
time with the tourism commission in Dallas.
I don't, but I should have them hire me.
And I'm
I'm
just
sold.
trying
I
to be
mean,
selfless
yeah.
because I'm all for the East Coast events. I think there's a lot of big cities with like
Coming from the
main.
guy that lives on the East Coast.
Yeah, no, I'm just trying. I'm saying no. I'm trying to be
Nerd.
selfless with all the other locations. I think
Yeah.
Atlanta's nice because it's easy to fly into. It's kind of a general like hub, so almost everyone can get a direct flight in there, which
Yeah.
is really
yeah,
nice.
to the worst airport in the entire country.
It is
That's-
so bad.
The worst
Atlanta?
one.
Yeah.
I cannot
No.
stand, and I realize that.
Have
a
you
lot
ever
of my
flown into
feelings-
Newark?
They've cleaned it up. It's actually much nicer now.
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and they'll they really cleaned it up,
Okay.
especially Terminal A, like very Canadian.
I hate flying into Atlanta because it takes forever to get anywhere, even with the train.
Yeah.
Cannot stand it. Also, it's the only airport that I have ever been stranded at overnight that just reeks of urine. I had a bad experience.
I haven't been stranded there.
Only place I've ever been stranded, Sutton, at Little Sutton, and I got stranded there going
really?
flying out to pick up a school bus from the bum F nowhere outside of Atlanta. We thought that we were going to be told to put the lotions on our skins.
I
Um,
call Atlanta the Florida of Georgia. It's
Florida Georgia line.
it's the Florida of Georgia. So like if Florida is like the weird uncle of the United States, Atlanta is the Florida of Georgia.
Yeah.
I feel
Yeah,
like
I know what you mean.
I'm
Atlanta,
coming up with
man.
Florida is
like,
Florida is
Florida
the
man.
Australia of America.
Like-
with our considering our wildlife.
Like Florida man and Atlanta man have a same vibe. Yeah.
and
yeah.
Atlanta is really different than all of the rest of Georgia.
Yeah. Atlanta is the Florida of Georgia.
Well,
All
that
right,
is
well-
where the devil went down to.
Yeah.
There
heard it here
goes
first.
all of our listeners from that area.
Well,
We apologize, but not for anything other than the fact that we just say things without thinking them. So,
Yeah.
no, I've given this a lot of thought.
Well, Morgan's
But
not a regular.
He's also
host,
from
so-
Florida, so
Yeah.
you know
Yeah, I
they're
can say
just
that.
like
I'm
us.
from Florida. But I'm not one of the hosts of the show, so don't stop listening to this show. You can just cut this episode off.
So what I'm hearing is a Kansas City maker event, maybe perhaps.
I think Kansas City, Salt Lake City, like they're like
Salt Lake City
What's
is
the
not
other one?
central.
well, not central,
No.
but like kind of
That's-
Midwesty.
Basically,
but
Pacific Coast.
That is,
If we
that's
did-
the Pacific, basically.
I guess.
Yeah.
Omaha.
For
No, we
any-
can't do Omaha. Literally, there's no direct flights to it. It sucks.
I have listen, we have kicked that idea around of like making one, and I will.
We don't have
I will
$100,000.
I will stand up and I will say, you know what? I was the first one to say that Omaha is probably not a great place to do it, and they would be so convenient for me. But
Now, riddle me this. All right. So I've been talking about this for years. We as a
starting in
community.
OnlyFans?
What?
Starting in OnlyFans? Oh, sorry, you were
All right.
going a different direction. Got it.
Dang it, man. Ruin the surprise. No, I've been talking about this for forever. So we go to these events. We like Maker Camp, I don't think is ever going away. That's always in October. Workbench Con, we always assumed would be here forever. And that's, up in the air. That's in March. There's been like nothing in the summertime. And there's always like at Maker Camp, it's pretty loosey goosey. You go there and it's like, come here, make stuff. Try to get outside of your discipline, your regular thing that you normally do. Just spread your wings. And then there's always an agenda at Workbench Con. It's all about content and like driving your business forward through the power of technology. There's nothing in the summertime, and there's nothing where there's no specific agenda. But I think that a lot of people go to these events because we love this community and these are our friends and we want to get together. Why can't we just take a vacation together? All of us.
Maker Cruise.
Ooh, actually,
Maker Cruise.
It's called Makecation.
I'm very jealous of this. A bunch of like the sign maker girlies, like Polish and Power Tools, Ashley.
I saw the trip they went on
like,
last year.
Yeah, they go on this like girls trip, and I just get super jealous. I never get invited. Kind of rude. It's probably because I'm a guy, but mainly
Boys
like
trip.
like I always think that's such a cool idea, and the guys are just we're just terrible at putting like events
Right.
together.
We're not great at like making plans and organizing things, but
Yeah,
like,
but we're guys. We could just show up and be cool with that.
there's nothing in the summer.
You're right,
And
but
okay.
Like
but
we
you
could
can't
do one of those cruise things.
Hear me
we
out.
can't
I've
do
got-
it in like a hot area though in the summer.
Listen, everywhere that the four of us join will be hot. Muy caliente. Hear me out. I have an idea. It's not a vacation, but what if we did a conference in the summertime that mixes the best of both? So you do the crafts and the welding and like you learn the new stuff, but we want to make it business professional. So you have to do it while wearing suits.
I'm out.
And because there's always the agenda, there's no clocks allowed. Leave your Apple Watches at the door. So everybody's just confused
like that.
and hot and welding.
Are my keys in a jar?
No, your Apple Watch is in a pot.
Get a bunch of welders on a boat.
Oh god.
I think Maker Cruise is going to be the next big thing.
I
mean, like,
wouldn't hate
That's
it.
the best part of all of these events is the getting together with your friends, the social aspect of it. Why mess around with classes?
I'm not there to
like-
learn.
Right.
Nerds.
The problem is a lot of us are getting old, so it's going to be more like a Viking river cruise, like a Disney cruise.
Everybody's got like, so it's not like you would get like a whole cruise ship. You like basically you organize it to where you're part of it, and then you work with the cruise line to say like, all right, we need this entire floor or this entire deck for our event on this night or whatever. And they work with you to do events and stuff. But kids are out of school in the summertime. That's 1 week where you can do something with your family, that like you got to take a vacation anyway.
Maker summer camp.
Like vacation, baby.
Listen, Carnival Cruises, we need several staterooms that can fit full bandsaws. Do you have that?
You have 220
No tools.
on
We're
this
not bringing
ship?
tools. We're not making stuff.
Yeah.
We're just spending time together.
The
'cause
only
that's
thing we're
the best
making
part
is
of any
memories.
of these
Oh, I like
events.
that. Yes.
Yes.
All right. On that note, I'm going to just throw one last thing at you guys. So Rosie called in with asking what your biggest takeaway. I think we covered all those, but I will ask in the same spirit. What was your favorite memory or favorite time at this Workbench Con? I'll go first. For me, it was karaoke with the girls from Vetric who know how to party, and also Becky is not allowed to have control over what's playing next because
Oh my god.
she could not stop. That was a blast. Also, I
She
got
didn't
to
even
see-
know the song she was
you guys-
putting on at that point.
She didn't
just
care.
hit
It
the
was top 100.
And she's like, somebody's going to do it.
that was a fun night. That was a 2-hour event that turned into like we left at midnight or something.
It was,
Yeah, it was supposed to be like
it ended up being
7:30 to 10 or something like that.
Yeah.
I didn't get to enjoy much of it because I was
You chatty Kathy.
Yeah, you were busy. You were chatting.
I was
with-
busy.
making friends. So Morgan, what was your favorite memory?
I would say it was Saturday night when there was just like dancing and stuff in the main hall. I usually don't get out there and do that, but like we end up closing out the night with like, I don't know, maybe there was like 20, 25 people that were there through the very end, the very last song. And I thought it was a really like goofy song to end the night on. Like
Let's
John
get it
Denver.
started by the Black Eyed Peas.
Well, yeah, that would be, yeah.
That too.
But like John Denver, I thought like,
Country Road.
okay, this is a weird and goofy song to end the night on, but everybody just kind of linked arms, shoulder, arm in arm, and we just started swaying, and literally everybody in there was singing the song together, swaying back and forth every word, and then it ended just with all of us in just one gigantic tangle of a hug. And that was how we closed that night. And that, I don't know, if for some reason that was like really powerful to me.
Wait, you got 2 John Denver hug moments at Workbench Con?
Did you not?
Yeah.
That's
I
not
th-
fair.
I
I just
I don't,
did
think
it.
I don't know if they were there for Country Road. Were you guys? Were
Yeah, I was in there
You
in
were?
at the
Okay.
Vetra event. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that
That was
song
a-
is becoming the official song of the maker community.
That
Because literally
song
everybody is
unites
posting
nations.
What are you gonna do? Take my country music award?
Everybody's like posting stories and recap reels and stuff, and everybody's using that song. I think it's becoming the official.
Still got to post
song
mine. I
of-
forgot.
We're gonna stop singing it and turn it into like a cult prayer.
Yes.
Country Road, take me home. Amen.
Amen.
And Stone, aside from hanging out with us, what was your other favorite memory?
I honestly don't know if there was like one. Like, I
Jeff
know
Hankey
it's a
in
cop out,
swimsuit.
but like just hanging out with everybody and catching up. I think honestly, it was kind of nice not having so many people, because when we're like down in the lobby at night, the conversations were a little more intimate, and it was just nice to be able to like have a real conversation for more than 3 minutes before someone shows up and throws everything off, But if I had to choose, I would probably say, I'm going to say the dinner we went to Saturday night along with the Vectric thing. We went to dinner with Carveco, had very, very interesting exchange with our waitress for the first half of our meal. And then it was like a switch flipped and she became a different person. So
The meds kicked in.
I don't know. The first half was unpleasant. The second half was fantastic. And then we went straight from there to the Vectric thing and went and got to sing karaoke and do all that.
Look at you double dipping.
We do what we can.
They
They know. They know we
know.
work with both of them.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
but yeah, it is kind of weird because, everybody assumes you're one or the other. But in our case, you get the best of both worlds. So,
In our
But
case,
I
you got to
think-
be both.
I think the combination of those two things and all of the people that were involved in those two activities. But yeah, it was
Right
just
on.
fun.
I know both of those groups, I can confirm, talked to both brands, hung out with them a bunch. Amazing people. And all from the UK. They just breed them different out there.
Yep.
They're
Braden?
they're like nearby each other. Like they're fairly close to one another.
Well, they used to be the same company too.
I was
so-
gonna say, it's
Right.
the same
They,
company.
they branched off from a common thing. So
I've got to say that my favorite moment that I will probably never forget was the 3-minute unskippable ad read before the opening of Workbench Con. No.
Wait, what? Did I miss something?
Oh, before the keynote speaker spoke, Ad Zen spoke on stage for like 3 to 5 minutes. There was an unskippable ad before the keynote speaker. Don't do that. That's
Don't do
What were they talking about?
AdZen.
AdZen.
You should use our program to optimize your SEO, and you as makers,
And I
if you're
feel
not
like
using us, you're worthless.
I think
But
they did
to
it
me-
last year too, and no, don't do that ever again.
But
You
we're
made me
talking
watch
about it
an
now.
ad about ads.
That is true. Any press is good press, I guess.
Look, we're talking about it now, and
Don't use them.
case in point, you could not skip. So you had to consume that speech, no matter what.
Yeah, but everyone listening to this podcast will be able to skip through all of this. So
Yep.
I loved the Vectric event. It was so much fun. I got to see Mr. Peter Kapar here do karaoke.
I don't
He
sing, no.
swore it wouldn't happen, but I saw it. I got video
Nope,
evidence.
that was somebody else.
It's for my secret. It's for my secret stash of videos. It's not going out in the public.
I don't want to go in your spank bank.
I loved our hot pot moment. Like there was a lot more. Yeah, like you said, there was a lot more intimate moments. And for me, it was really, really cool because I'd kind of gotten past that FOMO, like I don't belong imposter syndrome a little bit to the point where I was just so much more relaxed
Get
this
to
year.
enjoy it now.
I did whatever I wanted. I got to have like these great moments with like individual people or with like small groups of people without worrying that like, well, what if somebody else is doing something else fun and I want to be part of that story later too. Like I didn't care. Like I just wanted to hang out with my friends. And so I had a lot of really, really good moments, but I mean, karaoke with the Vectric team was bananas, Bananas, Gwen Stefani style.
It was good, and it was hot, very hot.
it
Oh
was
my
so hot in
God,
that
it was
room.
So hot
100
in there.
degrees in there.
It was all the energy.
Yeah, it
And
was.
I guess the ventilation wasn't that great, but like it was just like
There
was
were
a lot
no
of people
vents in there at all.
Body heat and moving and singing, projecting hot breath into the air. Like
there's passion
And
in that
you know
room.
what made
It was
it like
moist in that
easily-
room.
Easily 3 times as hot was an unnamed maker doing the thong song. And it's not a maker that you'd expect.
Dumps like a truck.
I'm so sad that I
Size
missed
like
it.
what?
And that's all I'm going to say there.
What?
It wasn't me.
It
I
was
didn't
not
hear
me either.
the thong song.
And we did end with closing time, singing arm in arm. It was great.
Oh yeah, we had a hard shut off Becky. Becky
Yeah,
was
no,
ready
I
to
started
be there for,
deleting
like
the
another
things, yeah.
4 hours of karaoke. She asked me earlier that day or earlier at Workbench Con, she's like, yeah, we're gonna do karaoke, and I'm worried nobody's gonna have any fun. I was like, you're my new favorite person because nobody ever wants to do karaoke. I
also had no idea. I've been going there for 3 or 4 years. I had no
didn't
idea
know that
they
room
had karaoke.
existed.
Yeah, I thought it was like a network closet.
That was definitely a murder closet until this
It's a
weekend.
network closet, not murder
Yeah,
closet.
sure. Yeah, whatever.
Same thing.
Whatever you say.
All right. Well, speaking of closing time, we're well over 2 hours. We should let these guys go to sleep. Stone looks like he's fading. We cut off his nap and then Braden's nap too. Guys, thank you so much for joining us, for inspiring the community, inspiring the mustaches, and just being all around just amazing people to work with and follow and chat with. The community owes a lot to you, and we do as friends. Like, you guys are a highlight at every event we go to, and that's all the nice stuff I have to say.
Yeah.
Hearts all around. Where can people find you if they want to check you guys out and your work?
Did you see that?
Yeah, the hearts, because you're on a Mac. You're doing the.
We
things
have
with
this
your hand.
conversation every time we have a call.
Why didn't I don't know? It's like Zoom.
Morgan,
or-
where can people find you?
Well, obviously, youtube.com/Onefinity CNC. Instagram is at Onefinity CNC, and if you want to follow me personally,
Care about you.
I wouldn't advise it, but it's at Morgan Hop.
Nice. Stone.
Yeah. Well, he already named our Onefinity one, but mine is at Stonefinity. But
Oh.
you can always find me in your dreams.
I want the direct to your account.
There's the stone that I know.
Yeah.
Love. Right there. There it
I'm
is.
starting to wake up now. Just
Slip
There,
into
it's
the
perking up. All right,
DMs.
now we can start the episode. Let's go.
All right. Take two.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you all. Oh, cut out the right at the end.
Hold on. If you would like to support the
Thank
podcast
you.
and help us keep the lights on and help us keep getting sweet morsels and snacks to our guests so that they come on the show, be sure to go to iloveawp.com. Check out our Patreon page. We've got some exclusive bits over there. Oh, it's a reference. And it's also how you're going to get registered for our monthly giveaways. March's giveaway is for a bamboo A1 mini combo.
A1 combo.
A1 combo, not mini.
Not mini.
It is mini in our heart,
Average size.
but it is the average sized regular A1
I'm gonna enter a
combo.
That's Bamboo makes such good stuff.
Yeah.
Busting.
Busting.
So make sure to go check that out. Congrats to Justin Bailey for winning this month's $250 Bits and Bits gift card.
A big bit. Get bit, baby.
Speaking of
Good
Bits
stuff.
and Bits, Pete.
Thanks to our sponsors. Thanks to our guests. Thanks to Braden. Thanks for Dan for showing up for like 5 minutes during the pre-show. We'll see you guys next week. Love y'all. Bye.
We promise you'll get
Bye.
Dan back next week. Love you.
Love you. Bye.
Long time.